Hello, welcome into another live stream here on Fantasy Filmball. And as you can see, we're talking about the Cannes Film Festival. I'm not going to be solo here. I have our two favorite film ball people who went to the Cannes Film Festival, Matt, Arno. How are y'all doing today?
Still sleep deprived. Haven't found the time to just have like a 12-hour sleep. I just went right back to work. So it's been a little rough in the last few days.
And then how about you, Matt?
I was going to say catching up on sleep, getting past the jet lag. It's still hitting me. It's Friday. I've been back in the States for 5 days, and I'm still like getting exhausted at 9 or 10 p.m. because technically my body's like, this is 3 a.m. Go to bed. You're dying right now. So I'm still feeling that. I'm still feeling the effects of festival fatigue. But Arno, you're in France right now still, right?
Yeah. So I'm not jet lagged.
You are in Paris.
Yes, I am in Paris, and I do not have to worry about that right now, even though I have plenty of things on my schedule. But we have, but it's been how much time has it been? It's been 5 days since the festival ended, so we've had a little bit of time to take it all in, and yeah.
I guess while people start to join in, I'll throw up this cool little graphic here for everyone to drop their questions, as well as throwing up this update awards expert top 25 that we do here on the channel every week. But in case some people don't know, for both you, Matt, and Arno, how many years have you been going to Cannes so far?
I've done 3. Arno's done 2. So we're by no means veterans in the game. We're by no means the experts of the festival experience. Although I think we can both say we're probably experts at following the festival. I think you and I have both been kind of Cannes obsessives for like 10 plus years.
Yeah. So I'm very happy, and I mean, like we said this on the last time we were live together, but last year's Cannes, we had this big project, and we really, that was our main goal. Where whenever we were not making movies, we were working on that project, whether it was filming, editing, etc. We were certainly, filming here and there and editing some things this year, but we tried to lower our workload a little bit, have a little bit more time to watch movies, and a bit more time to socialize, a bit more time to do other activities. And I think that's worked quite well. I even managed, I know you left right away, Matt, but I left a little later on Sunday. And so I even had a little bit of time to go to the beach.
Yeah, you went to the beach with Kelly, right?
Yes. So I got like 30 minutes of beach time, which is less than I would have liked, but at least I managed to fit it in somewhere because I wasn't able to find the time during the festival.
Mm-hmm. Well, as someone who has never had a chance to go to Cannes, that has always wanted to go, my big concern with going to a festival like this over so much time is you're paying so much money for the flight, for the hotel, the Airbnb, and to go to the festival. And I think Moonfall answers one of my questions right here that I want to ask y'all is how many movies did you get to see in total? Because I feel like kind of what you were just talking about right there is how do you manage your time getting to go to a festival and just a city that is so fun and so much to do?
I think last year I did about 31 to, something like that, which is less than I'm used to in a festival like TIFF, for example. But this year I managed to heighten the number of screenings to 43, I want to say. And that doesn't include, I did also 2 Cannes immersive experiences, which are shorter, so I'm not going to count them. They're like 20 to 30 minutes, but those are like VR, AR kind of things. So yeah, 43 for me.
Mm-hmm. I hit 46 feature films plus a short film program, so 47 screenings altogether. Oh, and then also the final ceremony or whatever. So I guess if you call that a screening, it's not really a screening, it's an event.
Yeah. I didn't count that one.
Yeah.
I also didn't count, I was there for half of Fast and Furious for reasons.
Not half. You were there for like 20 minutes. And
you were there for half the. Well, I was there for the entire Vin Diesel Second.
which took forever. Can we quickly talk about family? Can we quickly talk
Yeah.
Let's
about
talk about
Diesel?
family. Let's talk about Fast. That's why people go to Cannes. They go to Cannes to see Vin Diesel.
I
My
mean, that was
lord.
an event.
That was, yeah, you would have stayed for most of the movie if Vin didn't like mosey around outside and then do a 20-minute speech. Like, that man was milking every moment. That was Vin's night. That was
Yeah,
Vin's night. He
the
showed up
movie
late.
started an hour later. An
Yeah.
hour later than it was supposed to.
And this was a midnight movie. We're there at like 12:30, 12:40 being like, Vin, come inside, please. Oh my God, you're already late. And now you're signing every single fan's photo outside and we can't start until you're in here. And then he gives a long speech. My God, Vin, my man, what have you done?
The only thing that was missing is they didn't give him a Palme d'Or of honor.
Oh, that'll come later. That'll come for like Fast 15 or something.
Well, I guess I want to move into just your experience at large at the festival. I mean, just talk about what was it like to watch close to 50 movies over the course of like 10 days, or just having your time and your experience in France, whether it's the food, the weather, the people, anything like that.
Mm-hmm. It feels a little bit like being waterboarded by film, just a little bit. It's an experience. You watch so many movies that you barely have time to process them. And honestly, there's been a lot of film critics over the years that have criticized the film festival experience for exactly this reason, that there's no time to sit with a film. There's no time to process. You're being so bombarded with content that it becomes content. It sort of ceases to be an individual experience. And some films are meant to be sat with. I mean, there's certain films that Arno, I know you can speak more to The Dreamed Adventure, but that's a film that won the jury prize, was just purchased by Janus, but the overwhelming reaction on Letterboxd when that film first premiered was like half star, half star, half star, half star. Everyone hated this movie because they're tired, they're exhausted, and what might be an incredible experience in optimal setting, if you're able to give it the attention, give it the time, becomes really difficult when you're 40 movies in and you're sleep deprived and you have no time to process anything. So yeah, that's
and also I mean, speaking for our experience, we're out here, we're basically journalists. We have press accreditations.
Yeah,
we're not stars. We're not like financed by a studio. We're not like we don't have our stays paid for, and then we can kind of luxuriate in other things. We're trying to be as cheap as possible. So we're grabbing things from the local grocery store to cook or snack on when we get back to the apartment.
I will say,
we're on the ground, we're just grabbing like really simple, basic paninis, sandwiches. Sure, is there good bread in France? Yeah, but like we're taking the bottom of the barrel to not spend too much money overall, right? So we don't have the optimal we never went to a Michelin named restaurant or anything like that. So we don't have that experience either.
Arno, you deserve more credit for that. You said we were grocery shopping. You made food for yourself. I'm so impressed that you were able to get home at the end of those days and like make yourself a plate of pasta and like you cooked for yourself.
Well, listen, you watched 3 more films than I did, so it was at the cost of those films.
I guess so. I was existing on fumes the whole time. I'd be like between films, I would run up to the journalist terrace where they had free drinks, and I'd get myself like an orange juice and a cup of water, and that's how I was existing for the longest time. And especially like everything's like 10 euros or more around there. So I ended up honestly having a ton of like cheap chicken sandwiches from the McDo. So Arno had a much healthier festival experience than I did.
I had my daily fruit. I had a few vegetables.
Oh, I mean, our Airbnb host dropped by and gave us lemons. And you know what they say, when your Airbnb host gives you lemons, eat them at the end of the day, because that's what I did. I've existed. I think I narrowly avoided scurvy by eating straight lemons, just raw dogging those motherfuckers.
Well, I guess to go to this comment here from Nathan is Nathan was in Europe during Cannes, felt like they were at the festival with y'all. And I felt the same way watching the YouTube vlogs. So I get to see both of your reactions and following the comments in our Discord server as well. And I guess in my experience with festivals, obviously I've never done something like Cannes, but whether it's been Virginia or Philadelphia or NIF or whatever, I always feel like I tend to be more like Matt, where it's like, okay, movie, if there's time for a snack or a drink, there's time. But then I'm 4 or 5 movies in for the day. It's like, oh, wait, I really haven't ate anything today. But I definitely think the way Arno goes about it is it's probably the more healthier, better way for you to really do it here in the future. I guess it goes to my next question is whether you're going to Cannes again next year or just your local regional festival. What ways are your ways to approach the festival at Cannes different than if you're going to a more smaller scale festival at large?
Well, smaller scale festivals have the advantage of they don't have morning screenings a lot of the time. Like, I mean, regionals, a lot of them will not have the same press and industry coverage. But if you're at a festival like TIFF, if you're at a festival like New York, if you're at a festival like Cannes, Venice, they really make use of those morning slots to play stuff for press, to play reruns of big premieres. But in my experience, smaller festivals don't usually have the capacity to do stuff like that all the time. And so you can usually make your schedule without having to do an 8:30 a.m. screening. Cannes gives you no such luxury. You kind of have to take those early morning slots or else you're going to be missing certain films. So yeah, I think that's a big difference, you know, and if you're thinking of doing one of the fall festivals, especially if it's just a regional one and not one of the majors, really appreciate the fact that that you don't have to get there at 8 a.m. to catch a press screening. You'll still be able to see all the movies you want to see, and you won't be torturing yourself to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, at Cannes and at major festivals, there are things happening 24/7. There aren't necessarily films being screened 24/7, i.e., you know, at 2 a.m. from 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. there aren't any films being screened, but that's because that's the parties, the after parties, you know, and then in the morning you have to wake up early enough to get your tickets, and so there are things happening 24/7, and at regionals, there isn't that frenzy, that intensity. And like Matt said, screenings will likely start, you know, at minimum noon or something like that. And so it's a little bit more low key. You're given the chance to, you're you know, scheduling wise, it's easier to find time to sleep. It's not tempting you with that 8 a.m. But what if I can also catch that film?
Yeah.
So here we kind of feel like it's hard to make decisions like, well, I really want to see this film, but also I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. You know, like what do I take, right? And sometimes I think Matt really bit the bullet a lot of the times, whereas I was slightly more likely to sacrifice something. The biggest sacrifice I know I made is one morning I really wanted to see rehearsals for Revolution. It was my last time to see it. That's the documentary that won the Golden Eye, so the prize for the best documentary of the festival. And I just kept sleeping. I wouldn't have been in the right state to see that film. I'd just gone through a 6-film day, so I really needed that rest. If I had known the quality of the film, I probably would have skipped Fulfill, the Quentin Dupieux film, because that was not good.
It was a Cannes midnight screening. You should have known. You should have known.
Hey, you like Roma Elastica.
I did, and I saw it in the morning. I don't think I would have liked it if I saw it at midnight.
Okay.
Well, I guess before we dive into a lot of the awards talk, because I've already seen some comments there asking about prognostication, before we get to the Cannes Awards themselves, I do see this comment here, and I'm interested in this as well. After parties. How were they like? How did you get in? And what were your experiences like at the parties?
Well, for full disclosure, we didn't do after parties every single night or that, and we're not important enough or connected enough to go to all the after parties or that many major after parties. But we did give it a shot, and I mean, if you followed Matt's vlogs, you would have seen a few of them. The biggest one we did go to was the one on the very last day, and sure enough, I mean, like, there's so many people. We saw so many journalists and so many press people leave Cannes, that day on the Saturday, on the last day or a day before or something like that. And not least for, watching the closing ceremony, which is fun on its own, but going to the after parties on that last day was crazy for us. Like, we had a really crazy experience, kind of out of luck, getting into the Le Pacte, the French distributor of La Bola Negra, Fjord, and then Coward, their after party for reasons, and then
the Dreamed Adventure. You spoke with
the
Valeska
Dreamed Adventure.
Griesbach.
I did speak with Valeska Griesbach. Told her that we awarded her her last film Best Actor in the Cannes Parallel competition.
Yeah,
and then
the
learned
real
2 days
second
later that
filmmaker
said
to-
actor had been convicted of like crimes or something, drug. So like I didn't know that, so I don't know how she feels about that. But anyways, so
yeah, she's officially the second filmmaker who's been in our Cannes Parallel Challenge to know about the Parallel Challenge, because
Who's
we
the
did
first?
email. We emailed with Agathe Ridanger a few years ago. Remember?
yeah.
So there's two that know about it, but no, I mean, that final night, I feel like that couldn't happen any other night. It happened precisely because everyone had left the festival, and we happened to show up to a party when it was dead, and I think that they were panicking that the party was a failure, and they just wanted to invite anyone in that they possibly could. And so we it was kind of remarkable that we ended up getting in. And
it was like early enough that that the winners hadn't come yet, but late enough that the party organizers were like, hey, how come there's nobody? This isn't right. We're getting stressed out here. And we just happened to walk by at the right moment. And the dance floor was empty when we got there. But just 30 minutes later, it filled up quite well. And 30 more minutes
we
later,
lit up that party. I'm telling you.
I saw the
Yeah,
moves. Y'all had them.
Yeah. Great.
We got
great
Renata
moment.
dancing with us. So
Yeah, that was kind of surreal. I'm not gonna lie. Like, being in her inner and it's like we were already there. She just kind of came down the
she kind of
steps onto the
over the
and just
VIP.
happened to like come around us. Happened to just come around us, and we're like, yeah, let's fucking dance. Like, let's
we
go.
We were there first. I want to make that very clear. We were dancing, and Renata came and started dancing right beside us. It's not like we saw her and we went over. We were there and she came over.
Well, that's the way to do it. Is the celebrities come to y'all. They know
exactly.
These are the two coolest guys in France right now.
Yeah. Oh, our teen's in the chat. Our teen. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, our teen was there with us, with dancing at the final party. So
yeah.
Shout out our teen.
And I guess with that, let's just go into your thoughts on the winners at Cannes this year, just because we'll dive into some of your personal favorite movies a little bit here, where you can give out your personal Palme d'Ors and everything. But in terms of what Park Chan-wook's jury picked, what were your overall thoughts on those awards?
Right films, wrong places.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah. There's no big snub. There's nothing like when Burning was there and it didn't get anything, or Tony Erdmann didn't get anything. All of the films that we expected and wanted to get awards, they're all here.
I would say the only exception, I know it's not everybody's favorite, but I really love The Unknown, and I wish that I had gotten some recognition. But it's a divisive film.
I
get it.
I still think that we should have gotten a Léa Seydoux double prize, but whatever. But still, all of the films that were widely loved, widely appreciated, they're all here. But it's just a weird placement for all of them. Fjord is a great film. It is going to be extremely, extremely controversial. I feel like it winning the Palm. It's a very interesting choice, and we'll have to see how the choice ages. I think Christian Mungiu is he's a filmmaker of the esteem that I think having a second Palm is. I think he's worthy of a second Palm as a filmmaker. I'm just curious how this is going to be received once more people see the film. But yeah, to me, I don't know. With the competition we had with Ryosuke Hamaguchi, sorry, with him being in there, him getting just Best Actress, not getting one of the bigger prizes, I think that's the most egregious thing that we have going on here.
Maybe an Emilia Perez type like actress and jury could have saved it. That broke my heart a little bit. Like, they deserve it so bad. Like, those actresses are incredible in it. Don't get me wrong. And it's fitting, like, clearly the jury did something a bit like poetic in like, oh, both acting prizes will be given to a duo. And those duos,
and the poster was Thelma and Louise, which was also like
that.
a classic duo.
But I think Chloe Zhao in the press conference afterwards said something along the lines of, in our, as platitude-esque as it sounds, she said something along the lines of, in our world where we're often disconnected or that we have trouble finding connection, we really wanted to highlight people who are finding connections within themselves. And then she didn't say that, but awarding, a couple that is, in love with, which is a coward, and a couple that is platonic also gives two variations on a connection, right? One that is more romantic and one that is more platonic and more like sapiophilic, intellectual, if you will. So I get it. I see what they were trying to do, but man, I'm so like, if anything, it just means that Ryosuke Hamaguchi is going to be even more overdue the next time, and that'll be the one, like, I guess so. So we'll get him his Palme d'Or at some point.
Yeah, but there's some interesting picks in here, like Best Director. The Black Ball absolutely deserved to win something. It's, in my opinion, it was the best film in competition. Director? It's interesting. It's an interesting place to put it, because like the film is, how do I even describe it? Because some people have called it a TV movie. I disagree with that. I think that it has more visual style. I think it has more ambition than a TV movie does. But it is very, like, we've seen films directed like this before. It is a big blockbuster style film. Like, Best Director, when it comes to the Academy Awards, I can see a nomination there for sure. Best Director when it comes to Cannes, I don't think that this fits what we typically see awarded there. And, I could have seen this be in screenplay. I could have seen this be in Grand Prix or jury. But director, it's a bit of an odd choice for a film like this at a festival like Cannes.
I guess as the person here who hasn't seen it, just taking the words that both of you have said, as well as other friends of the channel like Ryan Castleman and people in our Discord who did attend the festival, is I think the word that you use there, I think maybe sums up why it won director, is the ambition and the uniqueness of the type of movie it is. And like, going to an example from a few years ago, but like Substance, is that the best screenplay on paper? Debatable, but you could say it's the most original piece that was there, and maybe that was what Park Chan-wook's jury decided to, like, hey, this is where it fits best. But that kind of leads into my next question, is y'all both mentioned right films, wrong placements. So let's go one by one here, saying, hey, this movie, where would you put it? So starting with our Palme d'Or of Fior, where would you put it? Would you give it to an actor, a screenplay, director, something else?
Screenplay or director for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so then now Minotaur, it's the Grand Prix. Do you go over to director, like where we had theorized before the festival, or would you go up or down with it?
I might just barely exclude Minotaur from the prize list, or maybe like a jury prize or something like that. But I'm a little less high on Minotaur than others. So
same here. I'm a little lower on Minotaur than others. but if I had to include it somewhere, it would probably be director, or a jury prize. You know, I think Grand Prix is I can't fault it. Other people loved Minotaur. It makes sense as a Grand Prix. It would also make sense as jury or director.
I guess now going to Fatherland, one of the films that tied for director, where would you place Paolo Polakowski's newest film?
Maybe that could be the screenplay. I don't know if I love Sandra Hüller enough to want to give her the actress prize in that. I'll put it in screenplay.
Yeah, for me, Fatherland is a really good director prize. This is one of the ones that I think is a good spot for it. The only thing that gives me a reservation is that Pawlikowski just won Best Director for Cold War. So it's like, you're really going to give him the same prize again. I would want to see this as like Grand Prix jury prize, one of those two.
I'll circle back to Black Ball because, Matt, I know that would be your palm pick of the competition lineup. But moving down to what's the next one here on the list? We have, I guess actually, no, let's just do talking about Black Ball. And I know, Arno, your pick here would be All of a Sudden. So both of those did not end up with the palm, but what would be your case for the reason to why you would personally award it with the palm?
All of a Sudden?
Yeah, Arno, you can go for All of a Sudden first.
So of all the films that I've watched at Cannes, All of a Sudden is one of the more radical propositions that I've seen. It's one of the films I was the most like scotched to the screen, like glued to the screen, just fascinated by what was going on and what was being said and the events taking place and this kinship blossoming between these two characters, and also just the subject of this, this old people home and this kind of new philosophy that is being developed and being challenged about how we should be taking care of the elderly. But ultimately, I think my case for the palm is that there's no other film I think that I've seen in the entire festival, but let's just say the competition, that is so bold as to propose a new way to live or a new way to see the world. And it could easily be seen as naive. It could easily be seen, as trying, as stupid, frankly. But it doesn't come off that way. It doesn't come off saccharine. It comes off genuine, and it comes off realistic, weirdly enough, because it really breaks down how would this world work and how we could live in it. And it is such a hopeful, optimistic view of life in a way that we rarely see in cinema. And I didn't expect this from Hamaguchi to be this purely hopeful, but there's always a bit of melancholy, there's always a bit of tragedy, but not here. Here it really is like anytime there might be something dark or violent happening, there's always something to alleviate it or to give it perspective that is actually more celebratory of life in a way that isn't sentimental. It was just absolutely beautiful. And I think just in the few weeks that we've seen it, it's something I think in the conversations that we have with other people just has aged like wine already. I think people have really been discussing it and pondering about the world that it is proposing to us. And even other films, I know we mentioned La Bola Negra is an optimistic film. It is optimistic, sure, but it is saying, it is talking about the past. And here, this one is talking about the present and looking into the future, whereas La Bola Negra is telling us to be grateful for the people who helped those in the present from the past. All of a sudden is telling us to look forward to the future and look at it in this way.
Mm-hmm. And I guess, Matt, for you, for the Black Ball, what would be your reason to why you would want to award it the palm?
Well, yeah. Honestly, it's purely just that it's my favorite of the bunch. I don't have a big grand reason. And honestly, if I was on a jury and I was talking about it, I would end up saying, okay, well, the Black Ball is my favorite, but All of a Sudden, for all the reasons that Arno said. I think it's the most radical in form. I think it's the most unconventional way of telling a story, making a film. And through all of that, I feel like a lot of the time when you think of radical art house filmmaking, you think of films that are very dark, very drab, very nihilistic at times. And all of a sudden is a radical piece of filmmaking that also carries so much hope and optimism and joy. And I think it's rare to, have that mix of thoughtfulness and pure joie de vivre. This is really what the film is. So to me, it would have been a perfect Palm. The Black Ball is a movie that I love, but it's not a film that I think makes a grand cinematic statement. And I think when we look at the Palm, what makes a good Palm is not just the best movie of the competition, or the jury's favorite movie of the competition. What makes a good Palm is something that we look back at in 20 years and we go, oh, that started something. That changed something about the cinema. So that's why 10 years later, I don't think anyone looks back at I, Daniel Blake as a great Palm from 2016. But it's still, people look back at it as a good movie. But was it a good Palm? I don't know. And so that's a little bit how I feel about Fjord. I think it's a very good movie. We're going to have to see how the film ages. I think possibly because of its statements that it makes, it could age very well or it could age very poorly. And it's too early to say any of that. But all of a sudden really would have been the film that I think already we know it's going to age gracefully because it's so radical, it's so unique, and I think it's going to inspire a lot of films down the road.
Well, while we're here glazing all of a sudden, let's go to Moonfall's comment here. Where would it rank in your Hamaguchi personal rankings?
When I came out of the film, I would have put it third behind Drive My Car and Evil Does Not Exist. Thinking about it and staying with it a little bit more, I think it might be my second favorite. But just to make sure, I'm going to have to rewatch it at some point, but which is not going to be very soon, unfortunately. But it's everything. There's nothing I would change about the film. It's just everything to me. I've heard a few complaints about the film because the film is very clearly segmented in two parts. Well, very clearly, people are segmenting it into two parts that are kind of each different in what they show you. Some people have critiqued the first and praised the second. Some people have critiqued the second and praised the first. I just love both parts, and I think they work so well together. And I would just I had such a pleasure. Again, it's so simple, but making this chemistry work, seeing this kinship develop, and falling in love with these characters, and seeing how their ideas that are blossoming through their relationship is affecting their work and their ideas in tangible ways. There's I'll give one quick example. This concept that is being talked about in the film is called humanitude. It's a way of seeing patients with Alzheimer's in a more human way. There are 4 pillars of humanitude. I'm going to forget some of them, but things like touching in the right way, looking at their eyes, verticality, making sure they can stand and have opportunities to stand up and things like that. And then right after Virginie Efira explains those 4 pillars, you immediately get a scene where a patient wakes up at 3 a.m. Having wet her bed. And her and Tao Komodo, Mari, are going to go into that patient's room. And Virginie Efira is going to say, okay, now you're going to help me perform humanitude. And we're going to perform humanitude together. And the next 5 minutes is them taking care of this patient. And you actually see in full, without cutting, you see how they take care and how they put humanitude into practice. Like so few films would have been brave enough to show you that in real time. and you have things like that within the film.
Awesome. Well, I guess just to get back to these official Cannes jury stuff, because I know we have Matt here on a small little time crunch here, just to say which award we would give these films. So going to the next one in line, A Man of His Time. Arno, I know it's one that you were really excited for going into the festival. So are you still going for lead? Matt, would you put it somewhere else? Or do you think screenplay is actually the best place to put it?
Personally, I wasn't a huge fan of this one, so I'll let Arno hype it up a little bit more. I think Swan Arlo would have been Swan Arlo would have been a good actor prize for sure.
I was gonna say it's okay if you don't want to give it any prizes.
No.
Like we have our opinions.
Swan Arlo plays Nazi Michael Scott. You know, I think that's worthy of an award.
Yeah, this is my second favorite film from the competition, and therefore it would probably be my Grand Prix. But yes, Swan Arlo is terrific in it. It's a film I really love. I think I'm gonna get more out of it on a second viewing. Also, it's just a great character study, and one where you see somebody gradually grow comfortable with the tasks he's being given, tasks that, and that has the naivete of thinking that, maybe working alongside the Nazis is better than being a revolutionary, because we can help tame them a little bit, help making sure we're going to be, stand up to them a little bit, and they're just it's the exact opposite. They're taking every order by the letter, and doing some horrendous things in the process. Great. I love that film. Formerly also a daring film. I hope that when it gets to a wider audience, that people can appreciate. But I realize that it is a complicated film to a pretty, what's the word? Like it's a hard film to pierce through.
Well, it's hyper culturally specific to France.
Yeah.
That's
which is, but I want to know exactly how that's going to affect a wider audience, because I had the chance of speaking with Paul Laverty. We crossed him on the road after he had given out Paul Laverty is the screenwriter of all of Ken Loach's films, and he was on the jury this year alongside Park Chan-wook. He's the one who said out loud the screenplay prize goes to A Man of His Time. So we stopped him on the street, and I told him I was so happy that he gave that film a prize. I was scared that it would go ignored because it was so culturally specific. And he really, again, I don't know his personal life, so I don't know how much he studied history or whatnot, but he was really saying how, seeing that film, he was immediately brought back and reminded to the situation in Israel and Gaza, and how it's such a blatant parallel to conformity and to be just trying to hide or not think about the atrocities that are happening, but actively making decisions that are killing people. So he was able to see that and found connection through that. Other things, I'm sure he likes the film beyond that, but yeah, like I'm hoping that people really connect to this film.
Yeah. Louise is asking if, yes, this is the movie where the main character is the biggest loser of all time. Yeah, it really is. Someone described it as the zone of interest meets The Office, and it really is that. It's like men in suits in boardrooms talking about Nazi war crimes, and collaborating with them, except they're all a little bit goofy and they're all total losers, specifically the main character, who, like I've said, he's like Steve Carell level, completely socially unaware,
no backbone,
completely spineless. It is Michael Scott from The Office as a Nazi collaborator. So yeah, there's a lot to like in it, but I feel like you would get the most out of A Man of His Time if you have at least a working understanding of the French resistance, and of the Nazi collaboration that happened in France during the resistance, during the years like 1940 to 1944 or so.
During the World War, during the Second World War.
Yeah. Specifically after the French army surrendered.
Yes.
Well, you both mentioned that Swan would be a great actor win, but Coward took it for a double prize. So now if you had to reposition Coward somewhere else, does it leave your prize list or can you fit it in for another prize?
Get that out of here.
Get that out.
Out of here.
Well,
Sorry.
a lot of people would say the jury prize Dream Adventure is the film that they would want to remove. Would y'all remove it as well, or is that one that you would want to keep in for somewhere else?
I haven't seen it yet. And Arno's seen half of it, so.
No, I've seen 2/3.
Two-thirds.
I
Two-thirds.
only slept through the first third.
There's
Which
nothing
is
wrong with that. People said it was really boring and sleep-inducing, and they were surprised to see it here.
No, okay, so it's not. The thing is that, listen, it was at the end of the festival. It was it's a film that, the thing is that it's not in, I don't think it's a film that's inherently boring. It's a film, in my opinion, like as the scenes were coming along, I never felt bored. In the last 2/3, of course, I'm not counting the first third. And it really is just that, like my problem right now with the film, and maybe I'll have on a rewatch it'll be different, is that I don't see the project. I don't understand what the film was trying to be by the end. Like, I had a good time as I was watching it. There was some good hangouts, some good lines of dialogue. I like the characters. I like what was going on. I see that there's something along the lines of like, okay, we'll make this kind of like what you think is a Bulgarian border thriller where things happening around the border. What exactly is happening here? And ultimately, the twist is that everything's chill and everything's nonviolent, and it's not a genre film at all. It's really just people talking, and it's interesting, So but even then, like I don't exactly know what I'm supposed to take away from the film. But I had a good time as I was watching it. Like I like what I was seeing in front of my eyes, and I was invested to a certain extent. So I'll need to rewatch it to fully assess. But right now I have trouble justifying it coming into the prize list. I know critics really love it, so there are a group of people who are going to be, it was just bought by Janus, so there's definitely some people who are going to be batting for this film. Again, I mentioned it earlier. I would have wanted The Unknown Somewhere. That's a daring film that I would have hoped that a few key members of the jury would be like, this needs to be in the prize list, and it's gonna, like, we need to make sure this gets in the prize list just for history's sake, because it will be remembered fondly. And right now we're not quite able to fully appreciate it, but in time we will. That's what I think.
I guess because I know Matt has to get out at the top of the hour, I want to give him a space to talk about some films that maybe didn't win any prizes, the stuff that you saw at Cannes. I already know one that you want to talk about here, so the platform's yours. What other titles that you saw at the festival that you just want to
going to talk about Club Kids so much this year, so I'm just going to say it's great. Let's move on from that. We don't need to dwell. Club Kid rules. I'll leave it at that. Honestly, let's talk Atonement. I feel like this is one that's kind of been brushed over a little bit. Atonement is a war movie. It's like an American PTSD film. I mean, you often hear the joke that people say, which is like Americans will invade another country, bomb the shit out of it for 20 years, and then make a movie about how they felt sad doing it. And I think that Atonement is a really essential deconstruction of that type of movie. It's a story of a veteran who seeks to meet up with a family that he murdered 3 members of in Iraq in a mistake that happened in a war zone. But yeah, Arno, I think you could probably talk a little bit more on this one, because I'd love to. I feel like you recommended that I go see the film, but you held back on saying anything because you were like, I don't want to give you too much. You got to see the movie yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you like the film more than I do, actually. Yeah, I just think that for what it is, for the kind of film that it is, it's taking risks and it's not taking the form you would expect it to. Like, it's a film with this subject can so easily fall into so many trappings, so many pitfalls, so many moral.
American Sniper. It can be American Sniper.
I mean, American Sniper is a great example of that. It could so easily be unintentionally, right wing, unintentionally nationalistic, or unintentionally overly sentimental and saccharine. Here, like Reed Van Dyke strikes a really great balance. I don't think this is a masterpiece, but for a first film, like trying to tackle these subjects, he's doing a very admirable job. It's also a very original screenplay. Like this is a film that is very segmented in different chapters and different points of views. You go from one point of view to another. You jump in time. You go to another point of view. You're mixing a lot of these different characters, and this is the key thing. It's where it's all going to lead to. That this has to end with the people meeting each other and reckoning with their mistakes and their victimhood, their asking for atonement, for forgiveness. And the way he handles that climax is what makes the film for me, because it could easily be just this big emotional bullshit moment where you feel like, oh, so what interested you in this movie was that you wanted to get us to cry over these real world issues. But here it doesn't come off that way. It comes off as, how is this actually going to happen? And throughout the entire visit, because it's not just, I'm going to say, I'm sorry, we're going to cry together, and 2 minutes later you leave. No, you're going to stay for a bit. You're going to stay for tea. You're going to stay for, going to meet a little bit the family, whether you like it or not. And the way he handles that sequence all the way to the very last shot, which is kind of wild, is such a mature way of handling that, because you see these characters after the initial, asking for forgiveness through your perspective, etc. Well, now what do? Well, I guess we talk and we look at each other and we see, maybe we offer a service here and there. Maybe we talk about other things, that aren't related to our initial, and it's wild seeing that. It's really daring.
Yeah. Also worth noting, the filmmaker behind it, this is his directorial debut, but he was Oscar nominated for a short film that he did a few years ago, which was a fantastic short film. And I think one of the most nuanced films about school shootings that I've seen. It was called DeKalb Elementary. Really great short and really great feature. What else do we want to talk about? Iron Boy, man. Iron Boy. This is fantastic. Le Corset. So good. It's beautiful watercolor animation. And it's like a passion project. The filmmaker behind this had previously only made Asterix and Obelix films. And he's been like pushing for this film for a long time. And because of that, you can really feel that there's this atmosphere of love behind it. I think something that I said in my vlog, I'm trying to remember exactly what I said, but usually animated short films are the ones that have the freedom to experiment. Those are the ones where you see really cool style come forward, because usually the more stylistically ambitious you make an animated film, the less it's going to sell, the less audiences are going to be interested. And so usually these really cool visual ideas are stuck being like a 10 to 15 minute short film. But he's been trying to make this film for what, like 10 years? He wrote a book. And it's so... There's something so rough about this film that's lovely. Like, they cast non-actors as the voice cast for it. These are just like people from the provinces. And so there's like a lot of slang and everything. Arno, you caught a lot more slang than I did. But like, you can tell that this is not like polished child voice actors doing these roles. Like it's rough, it's dirty, it's like it's real, and that's rare to see in an animated film. And beyond that, like this is a movie that just has a sort of look at life that reminds me a lot of like classic American cartoons, specifically like the Peanuts, Calvin and Hobbes. Like it kind of feels like something that you would find in like a newspaper funny page. And it's lovely and it's sweet. This is a big one. Yeah, Sony Pictures Classics does have this one. I hope that they do well with it because it really deserves a lot of attention.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about this later, I'm sure, but I would slot it in for Best Animated Feature at the Oscars.
I hope, but there's a lot of competition there. I mean, do you want to talk La Gradiva?
Sure. You loved it as well, which I'm very happy about.
I loved it as well. I actually,
oh my gosh,
I've already booked it in for my film festival.
Really?
I've already booked it.
So this just got picked up by 1-2 Special, which I'm really happy about because, you know, with some indie French films, you're always scared that maybe this is something that only the locals like, and it's not going to connect with other people as much. You know, there's always that fear. I mean, clearly that fear seems to have been justified a little bit for a man of his time. It seems that everybody loves La Gradiva, so I'm very happy about that. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited for people to watch and discover it because this is kind of a, I mean, this is an exceptional film. It's crazy that it's a first film too. It's this very simple concept, which is, you know, a bunch of I guess it would be
it's a high school Latin class.
Yes, but I'm trying to, after sophomore, what's the last year? What's the
seniors?
Seniors.
Yeah.
So it's
a graduation trip.
Exactly. This is a seniors graduation trip to Italy, to Naples and Pompeii, with their Latin teacher, and it's, at first it is very simple. It is really just these students, them talking about, you know, about anything from their future, sex, you know, their family heritage, things like that. And you see them interacting with each other as they're about to live their final, quote unquote, childhood experience and have to take the leap. And what's hanging over this trip the entire time is that by the end of the trip, they're going to receive their results for the bac and know which schools they're going to get into. And some students are going to have to realize that that maybe they didn't have it so good in high school, and but their future lives might be more promising, or vice versa, or just have to grow a little bit in maturity, and it's going to be harder for some than others. This is an enormous film about disillusionment. It's a film about characters who are starting to realize things about life that they didn't want to know before, or they didn't want to own up to before. You have a lot of scenes where we have 2 or 3 scenes where you have Latin teacher trying to teach things that are interesting, or genuinely interesting to the class about what they're seeing, the things they traveled to see. And you have a bunch of kids in the class who are not taking her seriously, who are just like saying random bullshit and interrupting her constantly. And it's only later that you start to realize that these kids, who are incredibly annoying at first, have some pretty deep reckoning to make about their own lives, to move on. And it's going to be very challenging for them. This is also a beautiful film. So it's shot perfectly. The way it captures natural relationships and conversations, but also how it captures a landscape. It's a film that goes into a lot of different directions. It's a pleasure to see these characters evolve. And, you know, without saying too much, like, the way it ends is going to be a bit controversial, I think, because it decides to leave you with a bit of a gut punch, with something that maybe wasn't necessary, but it's this like final nail in the coffin as to like this is going to be the end of this chapter for these kids, and they're going to have to move on, you know, and it's going to be difficult, and life is not going to be easy. It's worth living, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was really just a really powerful film for me.
In a way, for me, it's like kind of like Art House Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Breakfast Club is a film about you put together a bunch of high school stereotypes, and then over the course of the film, you strip away those stereotypes and you're left with the people behind them, right? Like, yeah, there's the goth, there's the stoner, there's the geek. All of them have their place in a high school ecosystem, but outside of that, they're people with their own complexities and contradictions, and that's what the Breakfast Club is about, and that's also what La Gradiva is about. You know, in the first 30-45 minutes, we're presented with a collection of stereotypes, and then we just gradually pull the stereotypes away. You know, what seems like the outcast girl, you know, she contains multitudes. What seems like
the macho class clown is
the
actually
macho class
closeted
clown, underachiever. You know, he contains so much depth, and so this is a film it's a high school movie that's all about, like, when you're in high school, you fit into like a preconceived idea. You fit into a stereotype of what there's archetypes, I guess, but the real world contains no such archetypes. And as these characters move towards going into the real world, those archetypes fall away, and the real people are revealed. It's a beautiful film. So really, really highly recommended. It's one that, you know, it fits into the same genre as like stuff like Superbad or 16 Candles, or like it is a high school movie, but it's more artful. It's more complex. It's deeper. And so it's one of those movies that anyone who really likes this type of movie, this type of coming of age story, they're still going to really like it. But it's so fresh and different and like devoid of any of the cliches of that genre that it's very exciting.
As we pass the hour mark here, and before we hit up Arno's list of his favorite titles, I do want to turn it over to this community post that we had the other day, just asking the community at large how many titles from Cannes this year they think can go on to a Best Picture nomination. As you see here, I agree with the majority here. 64% say 2. But as you two have seen the lineup here and all the films at the festival, where do you stand? Do you think it's just going to be 1? Do you think it can go up to 4, which we haven't seen in a long time? What range are you expecting, at least at this moment at the end of May?
I think it would be silly to predict less than 3. I'm going to be honest, because 3 has been the norm. No, 3 has been the norm, and we almost got 3 last year. And technically, we would have gotten 3 if Accident was in it. And also, I mean, last year was just like a freak year of there being almost no English language contenders, right? So the fact that last year we almost got 3 when every single contender was coming from the same studio and was an international film, that says something about the power and the influence of Cannes and the influence of this international block. Like 2 was a freak incident last year, but in previous years we've got like Anatomy and Killers and Zone. So I don't know. Right now, I think 3 is where you should be hitting. I think that there's a possibility for 4. That feels like a long shot, but at the moment, there are 5 contenders that I think you could fit in some way.
I guess before I hand it over to Arno, just going back over the last 5 years, Cannes has gotten 12 Best Picture nominations. That's an average of 2.5. Like you mentioned last year with Sentimental Value and Secret Agent. 2024 were 3 from competition: Honora, Amelia, and Substance, which, like you said, I think skews a little bit more English. 2023, you have Anatomy, Killers, and Zone of Interest. Again, Killers was out of comp, but again, it was a giant Martin Scorsese English production. 2022 we had 3, but that includes Elvis and Top Gun Maverick with alongside Triangle of Sadness, and then 2021 was just Drive My Car. So I do think there is an avenue for 3. I just don't know, like last year, if this is the lineup to produce 3. But Arno, where do you stand at this moment?
I'm glad you said it, because that's exactly what I was going to say. I think 2 is entirely possible off of the basis that as of now, and listen, I love auteur cinema. I love these movies. I love for there to be plenty of them constant, in the Best Picture lineup. But right now, we can predict that there'll be more this year. But pragmatically, there has never been more than 2 Cannes films that were not in English in the lineup. And if we do, the only English language contender right now, I think, is Club Kid. Or am I missing? Right, unless you really believe in Paper Tiger or something, which
it's not Paper Tiger. Paper Tiger is so dead. It's dead. Yeah. That's not happening anywhere.
So in that case, let's say I don't believe in Club Kid. Pragmatically, I'm gonna think, well, I need to find 2. The lock, or we're not locking this early on, but I think that La Bola Negra is as close to certain as you can within all the films that have just played at Cannes. It's the one that's checking all the boxes. It's the one that can be nominated in the most categories. It's the one right now. Netflix is behind it. What else do they have? Cliff Booth. We'll see how that turns out, I guess. But as good as Cliff Booth may be, that's like a prequel or a sequel to a film that is now not directed by Quentin Tarantino. I don't know what to think of it. They don't have Narnia. Not that was going to be a thing anyways, but Netflix is gonna. This is their Emilia Perez, all right. There's no way around this. They can even potentially get 1 or 2 acting nominations. 2 would be really impressive, but there's definitely an angle for Penelope Cruz. This is far and away the most certain one, I think. Even something like Fjord, which won the Palme d'Or and has recognizable stars attached, it's going to be hard to get, I think, Sebastian Stan and Renate Reinsve nominated. So I don't think that's like a slam dunk for Best Picture, even though there are definitely a lot of cards stacked towards it, not least of which that it's almost half in English, which helps a lot.
Honestly, people are going to be debating this all year. I see people debating it in the chat right now. We can't say accurately what it is, but it feels like there's more English in it than there was in Anatomy of a Fall. And
I felt like there was less than 50% English, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. All the court scenes are in Norwegian.
Yeah. Until the Academy gives an official ruling on it, we will not know.
Yeah. There's a lot of characters, and most of the characters, I want to say, that aren't within our key couple, right? Never speak English. I felt like it was less than 50% English, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm. And I guess going back to the question at hand, I really do feel like Arno at the end of the day, where if it is 3, it is Club Kid. And I know, Matt, you're very high on it. I think Arno and I are a little less high and a little bit more cooler on it. But if that does become a real contender, then I would go up to 3. But at the moment, I do think it's going to be between 2 of those 4 major international titles out of the competition lineup. And it's kind of plug and play with which one. Are you going with Netflix? Are you going with what we can assume to be Neon's number 1? Do you think the critics in the trifecta could rally behind Fatherland and push that up to become a top 2 international player? It's what we'll have to see going forward.
Yeah, I think in my opinion, a fair view at this point in time is La Bola Negra, put it in there. Club Kid, if you believe in it, and that would be the English language one. And then one of the 2 Neons. Which one? I'm not sure. But
we saw Neon almost get 3 last year. I think they could get 2 this year if they're smart.
Dude, I would love it. I would love that. I have, the thing is that the thing that's going in the favor of All of a Sudden is that it could more easily than maybe the other films we mentioned get acting nominations. Yes. Supporting actress is always, every year, is notoriously hard to find strong contenders. So Tao Okamoto, just slot her in there. Bam, there you go. And then it would feel wrong to have Tao Okamoto and not Virginie Efira. So if you have 2 acting nominations, if you get a screenplay nomination on top of that, maybe you don't even get a director nomination, but hey, he's done it for Drive My Car, he could get it for this. Like, just put it into picture, right? And then Fjord is like, whether you love it or hate it, that is a film that is like perfectly made, like on a technical level, on an aesthetic level. That is a film that flies by. It is edited to perfection. The sound is perfect.
Actually, wait,
the pace is perfect.
I was talking to someone about this yesterday. How long Christian Mungiu told us how long it took him to edit it, and it was absurdly short.
Yeah, well, that's the conversation I had with him.
Yeah. What did he say?
At the party, I asked Christian Mungiu like how if he ever did reshoots, or if he looked at, if he was editing on the same day and seeing if he needed anything else. And he was saying that no reshoots, never edit during the film, and he's presumably planned his film so carefully that he claims that he finishes the edit 3 days after the shoot, and the majority of the work he takes 6 months after that to work on the sound, and that's how he gets his pace perfectly. Like, that's how every shot in that film feels complete and feels whole. It's because he has such a deep sound design. He was saying like he was like mixing a 1,000 like different layers. I think it's exaggerating, but like he's mixing a lot of different layers, making sure that everything feels whole, that the shots always feel complete, and that's how he gets that pacing to work so well. It's because the reason you don't feel bored is because it's always full. You know, the edit works, the shots are interesting, but also there's always something to think about or to like take in with the sound design, you know?
Mm-hmm. Sleeper sound nomination, maybe.
Oh, no, absolutely.
It's not flashy enough.
Yeah,
you know,
the Academy would never.
Best sound.
But editing
could be a thing. Yeah, I do think Fjord, just to talk about Fjord's chances, because I've seen people be like, Renata Reinsve winner. No. Absolutely not. No. She barely has anything in the film. Like, she's largely silent the entire time. She plays a subservient conservative trad wife, basically. That's her character. She's not flashy. I do think Sebastian Stan has enough to get nominated. He is physically transformed. He looks completely unlike himself. We know that the Academy goes bananas whenever an actor does that. And also he has a few scenes of anger, of yelling. He's doing a lot in the movie. I think that if Fjord gets any acting nomination, Sebastian Stan is the easy one. If Renata Reinsve gets in, it would be purely based on the strength of the film and the weakness of the category. She's not doing a lot in the film that's flashy. I know people want her to get an Academy Award, get more nominations after Sentimental Value, but
she'll get it for Backrooms. It's okay.
She'll get it for Backrooms.
Well, that's the thing too with Renata, is the fact that she just got her nomination last year, which you could say was long overdue for Worst Person. And now it's like, if she didn't get that, maybe she would have more hype behind her. The fact that they nominated her less than a year ago, it's like, are they going to want to do this again for a performance? At least on paper, sounds not nearly as strong.
Can I say something that might make people mad at me?
Go ahead.
I think that Renata Reinsve and Mikey Madison have a similar thing going on this year.
As she falls down, Mikey Madison falls down.
Mikey Madison. I think that a lot of the people predicting Mikey Madison to win for The Social Reckoning are very similar to the people predicting Renata Reinsve to win for Fjord. I think that there is a large contingent of people on the internet who predict based on who they think is hot. And I think that, I think that we have some simp dicting happening here.
Even at Cannes, you had so many people saying that the lead actress from Minotaur should get that prize, and she is very hot.
It's just like this happens every year where we. And honestly, this is sort of part of the toxic thing that happens where like what is the median age for winning Best Actress is like mid-20s. I don't know. I think that people like to award young actresses for precisely this reason, and I think that it's something that contributes to a lot of ageism in Hollywood, contributes to a lot of ageism just in general. But like, just because you think Renata Reinsve is hot, it doesn't mean that she's going to win for Fjord. Same with Mikey Madison for Social Reckoning. She won for Honora, not because people thought she was hot, because that was an incredible performance in an incredible movie. So,
Hey,
Well,
listen,
I think, Matt,
to
this
all
is
those
why-
voters, I encourage you to turn your eyes to Virginie Efira and Tao Okamoto. I know Virginie Efira is nearing her 50s, but hey, if you're into MILFs, like maybe look into her. like let's get her nominated.
Well,
Yeah.
this is a great segue. This is why we all work so well together. As I was about to turn it over to the chat, going through the chat, and I find this one here, which I agree. Everything you're saying about Renata and Mikey, I think applies to what's going on with Obsession right now. But Matt, Arno, for both of y'all, I doubt y'all have had the opportunity to see Obsession so far. But based off of the reactions and the raves and the crave online for her not just to be nominated, but to win following in Amy Madigan's footsteps last year for Weapons, do you have any thoughts, or you're just holding those all until you see the actual film?
yeah, I mean, look, I don't want to speak until I see it.
Yeah, same.
I think it's easy to, but I don't know. Like we were just at a film festival last week, and then the craziest thing about film festivals is you go and you immerse yourself in like seeing as many movies as you possibly can, and then the film festival ends, and then you're like, oh shit, I missed all these movies. This is the list of movies I have to catch up on now that I'm back in New York. Obsession, Silent Friend, Is God Is, I Love Boosters, The Sheep Detectives, Backrooms, Mandalorian and Grogu, Tuner, Our Hero Balthazar, The Stranger, Pressure. There's so many movies that I need to catch up on. And so yeah, Obsession I have not seen. I do not have an opinion on it yet.
And I'm in France right now, and there are a few films that from Cannes and otherwise that I'm trying to catch up with here. I just saw Dao yesterday, for example. So I'm trying to catch up with some of those. I'm trying to catch up with The Beloved, with the Almodovar. I think I'm going to skip the Farhadi, but we'll see. So yeah, we're just Obsession will have to wait at least maybe 2 weeks for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm hoping to see it this weekend, but like, dear Lord, man, I'm so behind on stuff. So yeah, I would love for Indy Navarrete to happen. I think that this is like a flash in the pan of the moment thing. I don't think that she'll be as much of a contender when we get close to the end of the year. Critics could revive her. That's what I'll say. But we need to see something similar to what happened for Amy Madigan happen, which is winning one or more trifecta prizes and being a major critics frontrunner. Amy Madigan had not just her industry credit behind her, but she also had a massive push from really reputable people. So until that happens for Indy Navarrete, I don't know.
And that's the lame thing with me not going to Cannes is I've had the chance to see Obsession twice, and my opinion hasn't changed on either of my viewings. It's great until a certain scene, and then it loses me on the back half. But I think in that same vein, in terms of people having thoughts about something, and then an action happens, and then everyone's thoughts changes, we have this next comment here. It won the Palm. It's at a sticky subject situation. Do you think it's going to blow up overtly negative like we saw with something like After the Hunt last year? Or do you think it won't matter because the film's respected enough where like Tar had like a small sort of contingency like, oh, I don't like what the film's trying to say, but it didn't matter because people at large loved the film and it went on to get numerous Oscar nominations and almost win for Best Lead Actress?
I think the backlash we've already seen some parts of the backlash. We've seen already, like, whether it's on Twitter or like critics or whatever, we've already seen vocal people who are saying that the film is doing both sidisms. And as we know, Godard said both sidisms is giving as much time to the Jews and to Hitler. So, that there's that's one way to look at it. And so we have that already going on. And I think what I predict is that I think it'll remain in this form. In that, like, I think it'll be a small contingency who is very vocally against the film, but I don't think it'll be as widespread as something like Emilia Perez, or I don't think it'll be hyper toxic. I think it'll be like there'll be some very vocal critics, but who will have legitimate arguments. But yeah, it's I think it will not explode.
Mm-hmm. Well, it won't explode because it's not on Netflix. Emilia Perez would not have had even like a tenth of the hatred that it got if it wasn't platformed the way it is. Fjord isn't going to have that platform. You know, when the film ended, Arno and I turned to each other and went, "Whoa, Ben Shapiro is going to love this." But the fact
as a bit of a joke,
I know,
because like in that the film will be easily misinterpreted. You know what I mean?
And the thing with like I was talking to Cole and Justin, Oscar expert and Brother Bro, and they had the same instinct where I think Cole said Tucker Carlson's gonna love this movie, and Justin said, "Who the fuck cares? Who cares? Who cares what they think about it?" But to me, the thing is, like, they're not gonna see this movie. Like that, it's not going to enter their sphere. This is not going to be big enough to blow up in the culture wars. I think it would be really strange for a Romanian art house film to become a prop of the culture wars. It's not going to have the visibility to be as controversial as it could be. But like, yeah, film Twitter's going to fucking hate it. Film Twitter's going to hate it. But that's going to be a small, very loud contingent because. And honestly, actually, when we were talking to Christian Mungiu, he was talking about his intent behind the film, and it's not really a both-sidism. He is against fundamentalism in all forms, and he's against fundamentalism when it's employed by the state. And so, you know, when he's making a film in Romania, which is a very conservative country, he's going to take the opinion of the state should not be imposing fundamentalist Christian beliefs onto the entire population. Yeah. That's what Beyond the Hills is about. That's what 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days is about. You know, that's what his films in Romania have historically been about. But when making a film in Norway, a film that a country that is very progressive, very secular, he's now looking at the enforcement of non-religious fundamentalism. And that's sort of what the movie's about. And there's a line that a character says in the movie, which is, I will, you know, I'm not taking their side. I will fight for whoever is in the minority, whoever is being oppressed. And in this, you know, he makes the argument that this religious family is the minority in a country like Norway. But you know, it is going to really blow up in I think in Romania. Some Jimmy just said, will Fjord be in theaters in Romania? Absolutely it will, because this sort of follows the overwhelming belief in Romania, and especially it's based on a court case of like a Romanian family in Norway that had their kids taken away. And that court case became publicized internationally, but specifically became a sort of it was used as a tool of major right-wing parties in Romania. So yeah, I think the film will be screened in Romania because I feel like the powers that be in Romania are going to be very much on the side of the film and feeling like it's saying that progressivism is a disease. The woke mind virus is a little bit what the film could be perceived to be talking about. And it's not really about that. It's sort of just about, you know, the government restricting freedoms and, you know, the government sort of following fundamentalist beliefs, whether that is secular or whether that is religious.
Now that I think
circling. Oh, you go ahead.
Okay, if I just actually, very quick comment is that I think, you know who's going to love this? Armand White.
Oh, absolutely! Armand White is going to. This is going to be his most approved movie of the year.
Yeah, and then what And then I forgot what I was going to say. So you can go, Dyl.
I was just going to say, to circle back to one point you made about visibility and the Amelia Perez comparison, I still hold very firm that if the singing I can't say the word clip didn't blow up on Twitter, the film would not have had the massive onslaught of backlash on Letterboxd, Twitter, all platforms for it, because we saw at TIFF, it was second place at the PCA. We saw at Cannes, it was one of the most well-liked films across the community. And I just think that once that clip hit the timeline, that's when stuff started to crumble. And my final question for this before we move on to the next comment is, do you think there's a scene like that could be posted that could negatively tank the film? Or do you actually have to watch the film to have an opinion? Because I still think a large majority of the onslaught negativity from Amelia Perez, whether it was just or not, were from people who didn't see the whole film, who just saw a clip as like, cool, half star, we're good to go.
The closest thing to what you're talking about is like, there are some scenes in the film, I'm thinking especially in the courtroom, where the lawyer, is doing his job, I suppose, but in a very, very mean-spirited and like bad faith way, is like really asking some like off-topic things to really make the family look bad, or things like that. But it's not that clippable. There's really not much in the film that I can think of. No, there's really not. It's not that kind of film,
I think that the Amelia Perez thing, it's not going to be the same, because Amelia Perez was like a campy musical. It's very easy to clip that and go, look at how fucking stupid this is.
Yeah. This is like Triangle of Sadness. I really think like it's this divisive film, at least amongst critics, which is generally embraced by audiences. That is taking some risks, or at least taking some jabs, and some people are gonna feel, are gonna feel attacked by this, or not gonna like the way it's handling things, and some people are gonna be really into it and challenged and whatnot. I'm not saying Fjord is one thing or another, but this reminds me of Triangle of Sadness, actually.
And I guess
I will say, I just want to quickly disagree with the lack of clippability, though, because like it doesn't have a goofy quotability or clippability thing, but there will be moments of Sebastian Stan talking and getting angry that'll be clipped as Sebastian Stan owns libtard or whatever. Like there will be stuff like that gets clipped and put on like Romanian Twitter. There will be stuff that gets clipped and put out there, the same way that like Kate Blanchett taking down the like blue-haired students in Tar was. Like there will absolutely be that type of thing that gets clipped and shared, because there are a lot of moments. And actually one of my slight problems with the movie is that it sometimes does lean a little bit too much into those moments of like, based Sebastian Stan versus lib cucks. Like it has a few of those moments. And there's one specific thing, the fact that they portray, I think the casting choices in Child Protective Services are a little bit like, you did that on purpose. You chose the most like liberal looking, stereotypically liberal looking people to play the Child Protective Services people. And I don't know. I feel like part of the thing with Fjord that is going to hurt it, at least when I think about it going back, is that like it kind of leans into the reactionary side of things rather than giving like a very balanced look. Like Child Protective Services is full on fucking evil in this movie, and they're the only ones that have no redeeming qualities whatsoever.
Yeah,
like on one end it's like, should this family be allowed to hit their kids and teach them that gay people are evil? They have some redeeming qualities too. Child Protective Services, on the other hand, no redeeming qualities to them.
Yeah.
So moving along to our next set of questions here. I think this is a good one in terms of talking about the jury selection, because as y'all mentioned, it was a lot of the right films, but maybe in spaces that people at large would say, let's go elsewhere. And do you think it was because they met throughout the festival, not just all at the end? So like on day 2, they can be like, oh my gosh, the direction of Fatherland is amazing. We need to keep this in mind for direction. And at the end of the fest, like, oh, we saw Black Ball too. Well, I don't know where else to put it, so I guess let's just do a tie.
I don't know. I can't say. I feel like it's got to be like pretty reasonable that I would think most juries would meet through the festival and not just all at the end. Also, hang on, guys. I'm gonna just quickly step away. I'll be back.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess I'll. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I guess while Matt goes, let's just go over to your list here of the movies that you saw at the festival, and if there's any ones that you want to highlight or talk about. They can be positives, they could be maybe not positives, whatever you want.
Yeah, that way Matt can't poo-poo me. Yay. Well, actually, a film that Matt hasn't seen that I got the chance to see is the Un Certain Regard top prize winner, which actually just got picked up by 1-2 Special today. Alongside 1-2 Special also picked up La Gradiva, so right now they're on a roll. That film is Every Time. That film is really something. It's actually shot by the same DP that worked on After Sun, and that DP hasn't worked on a film since. This is their So they choose their projects wisely, because this is one of the most creatively shot films I've seen the whole festival. It's a really ethereal, kind of mesmerizing film about grief, because it's a film that starts, in the first 10 minutes, you have a pretty shocking death, an accidental death, and you see the family kind of having to deal with it a year later. And alongside, this key death, you have a character that had witnessed the death, even though that character didn't take part in the death, who is also dealing with it, but he's not part of the family, and he's trying to, find some kind of comfort through reconnecting with his family. And what they decide to do is go on a vacation that in the Atlantic, on the I don't remember the name of the islands, but the Canaries or something like that. And this is a trip that the family was supposed to take with the character who died. And then I'm not going to say what happens, because this is maybe the most ambitious, crazy, wild, like, plot and like movie direction I've seen this whole festival. The last quarter of this film is something mesmerizingly magical. It is just as sad as it is beautiful. There's also, the film implements Minecraft in a very unique way. I don't want to say how, because the way it pays off at the end is like one of the most beautiful shots. Actually, they put the shot up on the internet, so you can see the shot. But the way it pays off after everything you've seen is really, really special. Actually, you see it on the poster, kinda. You see the square sun from Minecraft. There's a way it uses Minecraft, which is really unique. And yeah, again, I don't want to, I'm going to stay vague because I want people to discover this, but what happens in the last 30 minutes is wild, and really makes the film, for me, it is something poetically beautiful, but also very strange. And as I was watching it, I was like, what am I seeing? What is happening? I was glued to the screen. I was like in suspense. I was like shaking a little bit, like, oh my God, what is happening? How can this be happening? What the hell is going on? And once it concludes in the end, it just feels right. I don't know how else to say it. It feels right. And it's such a beautiful portrait of what that family had to go through, I guess, in a very surreal way. That's one of my key highlights, I think, from the festival.
Well, do you have another highlight you would want to go over before we go back into comments, or do you just want to hop back into comments?
Sure, I'll just quickly mention we talked about Iron Boy, which is great. Look forward to that. Viva Carmen. I don't hear enough people talking about this. This is a beautiful. That curve should be higher. I don't understand that. That curve should be higher. This movie was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So many ideas and animation. This is from Sebastian Lonnenbach, who did Chicken for Linda. For you animation heads, Chicken for Linda is a really beautiful film, and here he pushes his style even further. There are so many, like the way he uses colors and brush strokes and more like subjective use of animation is beautiful. And I love the story here too. It's a story about fate. It's such a cool concept that you have these kids kind of realizing that they are, that they have the potential to stop the tragedy of Carmen from happening. They realize that a blade is going to kill Carmen in the future, and they want to prevent fate. They want to prevent destiny from happening and to save Carmen. And the way it deals with this is very mature and very very satisfying and quite deep for a film of this kind. I really recommend. I hope Letterboxd updates the title. This isn't even in the original title. It's still not the title. They still haven't updated the title. Come on, Letterboxd.
Yeah, the fact including a slur in the title, not a good look. Not a good look. It's not the title.
It's not even the title. I don't know where this is coming from. But yeah, and there's lots of great films. And then, I feel like on a rewatch, I'm gonna love The Diary of a Chambermaid from Radu Jude and The Unknown even more. Those are the two films. I guess they finish out my top 10 here. Mm-hmm. And they're both films I think on a revisit, I think I would really love them. The Unknown is definitely, I think, a film that marked both me and Matt. It's
ahead of its time.
Yeah, ahead of its time. It's a horror film. Oh, your friends give it a 3.0, but my friends give it a 3.6. So I feel like I'm surrounded by the right people. That's just,
we just look right here. You see a 2, you see a 1.5. That's really dragging down the score there.
Yeah. But listen, I think there's a really, really specific feeling that this film is going for that is like a sort of internal terror without the film being a horror film, or at least made like a horror film. And it's just really, really, like, it's so simple, but just if you were suddenly put in somebody else's body and you realized that you had to live the rest of your life in that body, and I'll say the other part, and that your body is being controlled by somebody else and you're just watching it and
you're watching them spiral into depression.
It's dark and like, I don't know, it's very it's not just a high concept little like, oh, we'll do a Freaky Friday. It feels like it came out organically as this like horrific like happening. I don't know.
Yeah, Jimmy, bleak Freaky Friday. You could even say bleaky Friday.
Well, I'm glad that y'all liked it, because I know in the lead up to the festival, there was some word that this may have been a giant stinker. And I guess for some people it is, but for y'all too, it seems like you are the people who liked it, who thinks it should be in comp.
No, I know exactly what Famo was saying, because in the conference, he said there are some films that are booed when they first play at Cannes that are later received as classics, and I think The Unknown is one of those. Like it really does fit the bill of that, of a film that people just can't appreciate right out the gate. I think it's one that is going to influence a lot of films in how it employs cinematic gaze, in how it employs the sort of the way of looking. Like this is a film that I think will be imitated in the future, and I think that the imitations will only make the film more appreciated.
There is really messed up sex scene in the film. I'll also say that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I guess just to knock out a few more of these comments before we get into our last thing that we really want to do here is the last 2 years have had a special prize at the festival, and Moonfall is wondering, should there have been one for Hope this year?
I'm not even gonna entertain this, Moonfall. My dude. No. You're gonna love.
Maybe not for the.
You're gonna love this as a Moonfall fan. You're gonna love Hope. We loved Hope. We thought Hope was a lot of fun.
It should have gotten a special Dank award or something.
Yeah. No, honestly, like Hope is kind of like what if you played Moonfall in competition at Cannes. It's a little bit like that.
Nice. I probably have to say that Hope sounds like the film I'm most excited to see that play at the festival, but there's other titles too. I have my expectations set in check for Hope, but I'm sure it was a one-of-a-kind experience to see a movie like that not knowing anything.
Mm-hmm. Also, I see Louise asking about booing for Canal Plus. Yes. Every screening, if Canal Plus was in the opening credits, you'd get a big boo. In fact, it's the only boos that we got at the festival. And I just want to quickly address, like, you hear all these rumors about people booing films at Cannes, and that used to happen a lot. I think that it doesn't happen now, particularly because no one wants to be filmed being the asshole booing a film at a premiere. I think that 20 years ago, people were much more okay with being a villain in that way because, they couldn't be professionally hurt by it. But you have to remember that everyone at Cannes, like, you don't come to Cannes as a member of the public. You come as a journalist or you come as a member of the film industry. And in rare cases, you come as a cinephile, but that really doesn't extend beyond youth. If you are older and you're at Cannes, you are in the industry in some way, and no one wants their career to be hurt by a video of them booing the new Arthur Harari film or booing the new Hirokazu Koreeda film. So the boos are reserved for Canal Plus.
Well, I guess to move into something I think will be pretty fun to talk about is I just cleared up my awards expert. Let's just take the titles that played at Cannes and let's try to fit which ones could be in the international feature conversation. Because, we have our international expert here of Arno's. So I'll let y'all be the ones to call the shots here. What films that played at Cannes could you see potentially make the short list?
I have I've thought about this, and I'm gonna want to hear your thoughts, Matt, also. But I have thought about this, and right now, obviously we're still early in the year. We don't know exactly. We know what's come out from Berlin. We know what's come out from Cannes. We don't know the titles from Venice yet, even though we can suppose some of them. We don't know the international premieres at TIFF either. There can sometimes be one or two. All quiet on the Western Front. One from TIFF. So it's hard right now, given that we don't know, what are going to be some of the late year surprises. Naturally, the lineup is going to be very Cannes centric. That being said, last year we had 4 films from Cannes. And this has happened, I think, not since 2018, or if I'm remembering correctly. But so it's not very often that it happens. But we've also seen how right now, so far, it seems like as far as international auteur films that are still, audience friendly enough to get into the Oscar conversation, Cannes is starting to monopolize that market more and more. For safety, I'm going to put 4 Cannes films, and I'm going to have a 5th slot for a late year title. Mm-hmm. So here's what I think. Number 1, I think La Bola Negra is winning this category.
Yes.
Netflix is very good at campaigning their films. They've won this category multiple times before. This checks all the boxes. Again, we've said this before, but it's going to be nominated in multiple categories. It's going to be an audience hit. It's that perfect, like, middle brow type of film. Some people said this feels like 90s Miramax updated to our day. This is 90s era Miramax updated to our day. Yeah. For better or for worse.
It's most comparable to like an epic fantasy version of The Hours, which was a Miramax film.
Yeah. Number 2, this is assuming that there's less than 50% English, which I think is the case. Fjord. Not only do we know 100% this can be submitted because of the new rule that top festival award winners can be automatically submitted without the country having to submit it. This won the Palme d'Or, therefore it is just eligible again as long as it's more than 50% not in English. But this is going to be a relatively accessible film, easy to watch film despite the length, recognizable stars, potential in other categories, not like Bola Negra, but that like this is gonna be a tech movie other than maybe editing, but like slot that in there. Number 3, All of a Sudden, put that. So we don't. The biggest hurdle with All of a Sudden is that it could go unsubmitted. Japan, I don't think can submit this. I'm not sure, but I don't think can submit this.
They can.
And even if they could,
it is a Japanese co-production with France. They could submit it, but they have a track record and a history of not resubmitting people.
Yeah, which is why I think this film will have to rely on France to submit it. The problem is that France has a lot of eggs in its basket, including Minotaur. So right now, I'm betting that France will go with All of a Sudden because it will be a bit more of a, it'll be a film with a little bit more attention, and not least of which, there will be name actors. They're not as big as Sebastian Stan and Renate Reinsve, but they are name actors. In the European sphere, people know Virginie Fira, and Tao Komodo, I think, will be on the press tour and whatnot. And the actors will be front and center, not least of which because they won the actress prize, right? I think this will help a lot. It's from a director who has been nominated outside of international before. So I'm putting this on my number 3. My number 4, Fatherland. So the other 2 films from Pawlikowski's like symbolic trilogy of black and white 90-minute films have been nominated for international film, and even beyond that in cinematography. I have trouble picturing this film doing more than that, doing more than international and cinematography right now. Not least of which because, one of the only other prospects, Sandra Hüller, is in other films that might, challenge that spot. And she's not like the showiest, most obvious role in this either. But I think it's fairly safe to have this in. It feels weird to say fairly safe, but it's number 4 right now. But, given that he hasn't failed to get a nomination with this trilogy of films, why would we not get it for the 3rd one? This is maybe a little bit less embraced by audiences than the other 2, but I think this is just, I think we will see that Letterboxd score go up a little bit in the coming months. I think, this isn't as big of a film as we thought it would be before the festival, but I think it's still okay putting it in an international feature, which means that the last slot, it's not Coward, it's not Minotaur, which I think will go unsubmitted because France and Latvia won't be able to or won't do it. And I'm taking a risk here. I'm saying it's not Possible Love either. I'm saying that, and of course, I'm forgetting the title here. Give me a second. It's Lila Aviles's new film.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. Which supposedly was supposed to go to Cannes, but now it's going to go to Venice. And that film is called... Where's the Academy Awards? International. That film's called Kabula. C-A-B-U-L.
I want to see how low it is here. To see the absolute depth. And this is why you're the expert here. Is, as you see here, we're down to 0%.
If it's good, this will be submitted by Mexico. There it is. I might be the only one having it up there. That's my current 5. I think a lot of people are saying Coward will be in there. Okay, well, a lot of people are saying Coward will be in there because Lucas Dont got in for Close. But here's the thing: Coward is Mubi's like 3rd film that they are pushing here behind with Fatherland and Minotaur, and it's also the poorest reception that he's gotten maybe ever, because Girl was actually well received the year it came out. Coward is sitting at a 68 on Metacritic versus closest 82. It is sitting at 3.8 on Letterboxd, which is good, but it's not the 4.2 that Close has. So I'm thinking that, given that it's not as well received, it's going to fall just short of the nomination. And then again, Minotaur, Zviagintsev has gotten in, I think, for his last 2, maybe 3 films. But here, if he goes unsubmitted, it's just bad luck. So,
yeah. Okay. Should I take over? On
yeah.
this?
What do
go
you
ahead.
object to?
Which films do you want to? Or let's
differences.
start with first of the Cannes films. Which ones do you want to move up or move down before we add new ones?
Get Fjord lower. I don't think it has 50% non-English. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about it. Let's just see. Sebastian Stan and Renata Reinsve almost entirely speak in English. Almost entirely. Stan has...
That's unfair. 75% at most.
75%?
Yeah.
I don't know. Renata Reinsve speaks more Norwegian for sure.
Yeah.
Sebastian Stan has a few scenes in Romanian. For the most part, anytime he's talking to anyone that's not his kids, it's in English. The courtroom is largely in English. Anytime anyone else communicates with the family,
Pardon?
the courtroom has a lot of English in it.
It's not largely in English.
Well, specifically, anytime Sebastian Stan is involved, English.
Even then, they switch. And you were talking about the family, right? When Sebastian Stan is with his kids, they often speak Romanian. When Renata Reinsve is with their kids, they speak Norwegian or Romanian.
But also, the kids speak English with their friends too, because it's established at the very beginning that they are not good at Norwegian.
Until later in the film, where they have learned by then Norwegian and they start speaking Norwegian.
I don't think a lot of it. I really feel like the people on the side of this being not qualifying for the International Feature Prize, I'm leaning on that side. I am.
Okay.
I feel like
we'll put it outside the 6 if you're really that way. We'll see your.
I would have it lower. I'd have it at like 7 or something. Get Cabula off the list. Take it off. It's not on my list. I would have Coward in there. Also, get Minotaur the fuck out of there. No one is going to submit that movie. I don't think Latvia will even submit it. I don't know if Latvia will be seen as having significant creative control to be considered to submit it. And also, I think that they'll submit Ulya, which is a very distinctly Latvian movie, versus Minotaur being a Russian movie that just happened to be shot in Latvia because they can't shoot it in Russia. And France has bigger fish to fry. I think that they'd be more likely to submit All of a Sudden, and if not All of a Sudden, A Man of His Time over it. Possible Love we won't talk about because we don't know anything about it. Let's go down the list. Hope, even if there was no other South Korean film, I don't think it's happening.
Rose would be Austria's submission.
Gentle Creature, I think, could be Austria.
I think it's going to be Rose. I'm sorry.
I feel like it's one of those two. I think that Netflix is going to push Netflix is going to push Gentle Creature really hard. But no matter what, I don't think Gentle Creature gets the nomination. Let's scroll down more. Let's see what else there. Okay, let's just talk through The Beloved. Not going to be Spain's submission.
Nope.
Same with Bitter Christmas. Not going to be Spain's submission. That's La Bola Negra. What else is there?
Godzilla -0 could be Japan's submission, but
yeah, but that's not a Cannes title. We won't address that. We'll just address the fact that Sheep in the Box will not be the Japanese submission. The Meltdown could be the submission for Chile.
I think it will, and I think it will not make the shortlist.
Yeah. So let's move down.
Well, I guess before we move down real quick, I've seen some people in the chat. I know it's not a Cannes title, it could be a Venice title, but do you think there's been any word with Mimesis being ready for 2026, or is that off to
2027?
Wait for next year. Yeah.
Right there. That's all you need to say to get me to go to Cannes next year, is that the new Benhania film's going to be at Cannes.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, next year we're getting Ostland, we're getting Albert Serra, we're getting Kauter Benhania, we're getting what else? I don't know. There's some lots of promising
Terrence
titles
Malick,
already.
trust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep scrolling. I'm not seeing anything that's speaking to me because A Man of His Time could be France's submission if they don't go with All of a Sudden, but I don't think it would get nominated if it did. La Gradiva, we love it. It's not going to be France's submission.
No.
Benny Mana is a good shout.
Benny Mana, I think like hovering around my 9 or 10.
That will be Rwanda's submission, and it would be
if Rwanda submits.
If Rwanda submits, but I don't see why they wouldn't submit this film.
Because we've seen things like this happen.
We have seen things like this happen. On Becoming a Guinea Fowl is a great example.
Yeah.
What
But
else?
Benny Mana is a sleeper. It'll make the short list for sure.
It would make the short list. It wouldn't get nominated, but it would make the short list. Every Time, do you think that Germany could possibly submit that?
Germany is either submitting that or Gentle Monster if they can't get the Austrian submission, or they could submit it. But listen, it would almost be as wild as seeing like Hill County this evening be nominated in documentary. Like, it's
interesting.
I don't think it's the type of film that it's gonna, not enough people are gonna be on its wavelength. I've talked to Justin, who had seen it, and I could not, like, he was just lost with that ending. He was like, I can't, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but it was something like, I don't understand what it was doing, and I wasn't seduced by that. And I think that's going to be the reaction of a lot of people who are really, or not going to be on the side of the film by the end. I loved what the film ultimately was doing, but I think a lot of people are going to be like, what the hell was that?
Okay, let's keep scrolling. Let's see what other Cannes titles are here.
And I would say if there's something that's not Cannes that you could see be a possible shortlist, we can just add it in as we go through.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's more of those that I would do, but Clarissa's in English, so cut that. It is Nigerian, but it's in English.
Forever Your Maternal Animal will not be nominated. I can tell you that.
What country is that from?
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. Yes. Okay. Costa Rica. Elephants in the Fog will be submitted by Nepal.
Can it get nominated?
It will not get nominated. No. It could make the short list like Mysterious Gaze of the Flamingo did, but that also won in certain regard. Congo Boy will be submitted.
Yes.
Will not be shortlisted, will not be nominated. What else? Let's keep scrolling.
What's It Will Happen Tonight? I don't know what that is.
Nanny Moretti, I guess.
Oh, no, that's next year.
Yeah. Not seeing anything else at this point that's like jumping out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to put a Venice title in there. It could be Possible Love, even though Lee Ching-dong has had no luck so far. Or it could be Kabula, directed by the director of Totem, who got on the short list, was not too far from the nomination.
Toss Strawberries on there.
Strawberries.
For Morocco, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's not a Cannes title, but Flies played really well at Berlin, and that's a Mexican film.
Yes.
What else is there? Dua, you should throw on for sure.
Yeah,
that
Dua
is a film from Kosovo. The filmmaker's last film did get shortlisted, and I think that this one's better than that one, so it's possible.
I think we're digging a little too deep now.
Yeah. Let's see. Where are we at? We're at 17, so we can chop this down to be a top 15.
We can chop this down to be a top 15. Well, can we go back to the plus just because I will add a few things that are Venice. Add in. Okay, we got. Add in the
Venice
Meltdown.
has nothing this year.
Add in the Meltdown because and add in Yellow Letters.
Yeah, Yellow Letters is guaranteed to be.
It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Do we think Silent Friend could be Hungary's submission this year? Is that even possible?
I think it's not possible, but
Okay, let's work with what we got here.
Cool. All right, so y'all both overlap Blackball, All of a Sudden Fatherland. I know there's a difference between Coward and Kabula. So we'll just make that the top 5 at the moment, assuming we have an ineligible title.
I would rather. Oh man, I think that's such an obscure pull, Arno.
It's not a. It's gonna go to Venice, and it's gonna win a
Totem
prize.
Shot's a good one. Totem did get close. It was probably top 10 that year.
I don't know. We're just gonna have a strong. I wouldn't even put this as Mexico's submission. So,
I mean, listen, I don't think
we'll
it's
leave
gonna
as
be
the
that hard
5
to
for
top.
now, but we'll put some other stuff to make a 10, and then we can reposition the top 5.
yeah, then put Possible Love in there over Coward. I feel more strongly about it.
Cool. So then we'll do that. Coward at 7. Then now we're working
way down.
Here, we'll
Rose is
Minotaur
definitely
down.
top 10.
If submitted.
We're gonna go with
Rose will
it
be
is
submitted.
If submitted.
Rose will be submitted. Austria knows how to handle their shit.
I do think Japan goes Godzilla. I really do think they do.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
Put Benimana above A Man of His Time.
Yes. Honestly, take A Man of His Time off the list just because France has other fish to fry.
Mm. And then every time, I think it's fair to put next, I guess.
I'd put Strawberries above it.
Strawberries got a mixed. I would put Elephants in a Fog above it first, because Strawberries had a mixed reception. So
okay. And the Meltdown.
Oh, Dua. Let's put Dua above Every Time.
Yeah, Dua should be up there. Dua Lipa.
Well, if we're going with Kabula, I guess we have to remove Flies because it wouldn't be the pick unless another country could do it.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: Flies, pretty well received, won nothing at Berlin.
Yeah.
It's a small 90-minute black and white, chill, feel good movie. That's only like coming out on Mubi in Latin American countries. Like, it's clearly not having the platform that Kabula could bomb for all we know, but it's not going to be that hard to top it for Mexico, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. So I think Chile with The Meltdown, Morocco with Strawberries, Germany with Every Time, Kosovo with Dua, Nepal with Elephants in the Fog, Rwanda with Benimana, Japan, Godzilla, Austria, Rose, Belgium, Coward, Romania with Fjord, not even Romania with Fjord, just Palm Fjord.
Yeah, Palm.
Sorry, I have to mention this. Moonfall saying a Dora submission. That would be the worst goddamn thing South Korea can do. That was my least favorite film of the whole festival, which is unfortunate because I love July Jung's previous film, and this was just a complete misfire, complete mess, baffling film.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of including the Bear winner, I mean, it's our next in line if Fjord is disqualified. So
to round out our
I think
15,
we can put Yellow Letters above The Meltdown.
Because I say we can keep 16 here. If we have a disqualification, then we have what our 15 would be. So does Minotaur just get chopped?
I think Minotaur gets chopped. I mean, if Latvia finds a way to submit it, which I don't think they will, I think they'll submit Ulya.
Or if somehow France decides to submit it, then we'll have to put it in.
Shocking.
There we go. There's a 16. Now we have our question of, we agree with the top 3 if they all get submitted, but then what would be 4 and 5? I do agree we should have at least 1, maybe 2 Venice titles. But the question just becomes what is the Venice title?
Yeah. But no, I think that top 3 is really strong as long as France does the right thing and submits Hamaguchi.
Yeah.
Which I feel like France has been on the right thing path for a while, even when it doesn't work out for them. Anatomy of a Fall aside, because there was extra stuff at play there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Because 2023 they screwed up. 2024 they submitted Emilio Perez, and then last year it was just an accident. So the last 2 years they've been okay, and they could have easily messed it up last year. Like last year they could have gone with Nouvelle Vague. They went with the right thing to do. Yeah,
I wonder how that would have
so
played out last year if we had our rules in place now where Accent was just automatically eligible. If Nouveau Vague had been shortlisted, we saw the Globes respond to it, could have contended for the 5th slot with.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes, it totally could have. I think it would have been nominated if it was submitted.
I think it would have just missed. I still think Voice of Hinrajab was stronger.
Oh yeah, actually, thinking about the top 5 was too strong. It would not have cracked the
Yeah,
top 5.
Hinrajab
No
would have
other
been our
choice didn't
5th.
crack the top 5, but it would have been shortlisted.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. Do we want to take a quick look at the other specialized categories now with the Cannes titles in mind?
I would skip documentary because I feel like there's been no movement on documentary. Dylan, get
maybe
Once
the
Upon
Golden
a Time in
Eye.
Harlem the fuck out of your first place for documentary.
That's Community.
My
That's the
lord.
Community.
Okay.
Community's got it at 62%.
Like that's not even
win.
personal bias saying anything. That's just like that makes
I
no
don't-
sense for.
I'm not touching Doc until y'all do a
Thank
Doc vid. I'm chilling on that.
I would rather not touch Doc because the only documentary that premiered at Cannes that's worth mentioning is Rehearsals for a Revolution. But there were 9 animated films. I think that there's been a lot of movement in animation. Dylan, if you're saving this, take Cabula out and put
No,
take Cabula out.
No, you're
Take
not
it
going to
out.
regret it.
No, take it
I'm down
out.
to
Get it
to
out
do
of
the
there.
swing right now. I'm down to do the swing
Listen,
right now.
Dylan, you
We're gonna
remember
take a
you were
swing
trying to
for
predict
Leela
Totem.
Aviles?
Let's
I
do this
did.
together.
Totem failed me. Totem failed me. But
God damn.
here's the more important thing. Besides the Venice title that gets in, we have our yearly Cannes funny movie subplot film that cracks international feature or at least one category at the Oscars. What takes that mantle this year?
Unfortunately, we don't have one, and if we do have one, the only film that kind of like qualifies would be Every Time. It's the funny, we have Minecraft in the movie. You know?
I would say Hope. Hope is the one. Hope has a like 4-minute diarrhea monologue.
Because that's the
true.
thing is this stat hasn't failed me every year since we've been doing this of picking the haha that movie's at Cannes title, and it goes all the way.
We thought it would be The Black Ball, and it's not campy. It's not campy enough for.
The
It's
Black
not
Ball
a
is not campy.
comedy whatsoever. It is dramatic.
No, you could say that the meme movie could be All of a Sudden and Its Feet.
Okay, that's a stretch. But yes, there are a lot of
I
old
think
people feet.
the
in All of a
feet
Sudden.
is equally funny to the toilets in Perfect Days.
Okay,
in my opinion.
fine. Okay, old people feet.
And we have
from All of
Toilet
a Sudden.
Cleaner
Old people
movie. We
Old
have
people foot fetish.
we had the Donkey film EO. That was a great one. I wish we had some of the extra awards prediction stuff back then because that would have been a fun one to be like, yeah, we were on EO all the way just because it's a donkey film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. I think Old People Foot Fetish would be the one. If not, it's CGI Monsters. If you want to go out for hope and think
there we
that
go.
Possible Love
go
is not getting in.
Personal predictions. Let's go visual effects. Let's just throw it to number 1. Who cares? Oh, it's already checked off. Where do I have it? I have it at 10. Let's make it number 1.
Oh,
there we go.
do it.
Dude,
This
this
is-
is side.
This
They're
is a Michael and Best Picture level prediction.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay,
Trust.
can we talk
Michael can come
animation?
back.
Okay,
though?
yeah, we have to talk animation.
Yeah, documentary, there's no movement. Animation, there's big movement.
here. Let me
All
just
right,
clear
so-
out mine, and we can just
Matt,
work from
I
scratch.
wanna know what you think because right now I'm not as studied. I don't have a full picture of like all the animated films coming out this year. But right now my instinct tells me purely on like the films and the receptions of the films I've seen at Cannes. Like it feels to me like we should have Iron Boy and Tangles in the 5, and we have to find a way for those two to stay in the 5 no matter what.
So, okay, let's just add, there were 9 animated films at Cannes. Let's add as many of them as we can. We'll order them in likelihood, and then we'll add in
Okay.
the other ones and see where
Sounds good.
things shake out. Okay,
So I'd put Le Corset first.
I would not.
Here, let's just go down the order here,
Let's go
and
down
we'll
the
find
order.
the Cannes films, and
Yeah.
then we'll add them in.
So Tangles, Iron Boy, In Waves. Keep going down. Lucy Lost.
Love is a Gypsy Child, the
Oh,
Carmen
Lucy
story.
Lost at the top.
Yep.
Bring it
We are-
down. Jim Queen.
Oh, Jim Queen, yeah.
We Are Aliens. Keep it going.
How far do we go?
How far do we go?
They're not. Oh, they do have
Yep, Vertiginous.
Vertiginous.
Blaze.
Oh,
Dude, if Vertiginous gets a nomination,
Yeah.
that would be fucking crazy.
And are we forgetting any others?
No, that's if we got down to Blaze, I think that's the last one.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna
many do we
use
have
minions
here?
as
Or nine?
monsters as our barrier. If it goes above minions and monsters, we think there's a shot it could be nominated. If it's below
Okay.
minions and monsters, it's just on the list.
So I would say Tangles and Iron Boy put above Minions and Monsters.
Who do you think gets Tangles?
It's a great question. So apparently Netflix passed on Tangles because the film's not visually popping enough. So that is something worth considering.
Do you think Neon will want?
I think it could be Neon's animation contender.
But why haven't they? Because they went for Arco right away.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a great question. Why haven't they? I don't know. I think In Waves put above Minions and Monsters.
Okay.
And then let's look down the list. Yeah, Vertiginous and Blaze belong at the bottom. They don't even belong on the list. You can delete them, honestly. I would delete We Are Aliens. I don't think that has a chance. I think it's just too typical anime.
Jim Queen is like a pimped up lesbian space princess.
Yes.
It's like it's better. It's got a little bit more production, but it's not that impressive animation wise. It's just a bunch of like in jokes, you know.
Yeah.
So
So if there was a short list of 15, do you think it could make that, or do you think we should just axe it off?
I don't think that the animation branch would go for it. I think it's really resonating on Letterboxd because I think that it's like a very Gen Z skewing film. I think that when you get this in front of animation people, it might not have the same response.
the remaining 5, I think, like if there was a short list of 15, you could see them on them.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I would
So
put
then
Lucy
we'll-
Lost above Viva Carmen.
I wouldn't.
Well, they're both below minions and monsters, so
They're
the
both
order
below
for that
Minions
doesn't
and
matter at the
Monsters.
moment. So now I guess let's add in some titles that aren't canned films to kind of see what our competition looks like.
Okay. So let's add Wildwood. Let's add Toy Story 5. Let's add Hoppers, Forgotten Island, Raygun, Shaun the Sheep, of course. Julian is like an honorary Cannes title because it's an Annecy premiere. My question is, why did it not go to Cannes in a year that had so much animation at Cannes? I wouldn't add Goat. I wouldn't add Super Mario. Coyote versus Acme is not.
I would
going
add
to be
Mario for
eligible.
like the 15 slot in case PGA wants to do their weird
You know what?
PGA
add,
thing.
Add Goat as well as like a possible bottom with Minions and Monsters. And did we add Hexed?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh my
let's
God,
start. Let's
Misaki Yuasa has a new film coming out. That's exciting.
Do we want to add Coyote Acme? I don't
No,
have
it's not
much
gonna be
faith in
eligible.
anything for
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's not going to be eligible.
Cool.
I would consider Frankelda, being that it is Mexico's first stop motion film.
We can
That
add it
might-
if it doesn't make the 15.
Yeah,
it can just
yeah,
get
yeah.
chopped.
Let's scroll down a little bit more. Avatar's not going to.
The sheep
I've-
detectives.
I've heard good
Sheep
things about
Detective should
Decorado.
I have heard good things about Decorado also.
Cool. I'll add
Um,
it. Cat in the Hat. That's an animation winner right there.
Animal Farm.
Animal Farm. I would say When a Witness Recants should be a potential
Okay.
nominee. It's a Sundance documentary that's fully animated.
Fair enough.
I
I think we have enough. man.
Live action
I think we have
Tangled.
live action
All
Tangled.
right. What do we have? We have 19, so 4 of these will have
Oh,
to
we'll
get cut
cut
down
some
the
of those
line.
out.
Yeah.
Cool.
Um,
So again, the barrier is minions and monsters in terms of stuff that we can see being nominated somewhere on the precursor track. So I guess let's just start with where the community has Wildwood. Is that going
Okay.
to number 1? Is that going to 2?
At
3?
this point, put it at number 1. I think it's
Yeah.
number 1. I mean, the trailer became what, like the fastest. Like that is it got crazy amount of views on YouTube.
I
think
don't
it got the most
understand how.
traction.
Me neither. I'm shocked.
No, but to me, that's saying that there's some excitement behind this that goes deeper than what we can think of. Yeah, the only thing going against this is Fathom Events, in my opinion.
Honestly, I was about to say the opposite. I think the reason why the trailer did so well was Fathom paid a shit ton of YouTube ad money and threw it in front of everything to get views up and promotion. Every movie I've gone to, Obsession, Shrek re-release, Sheep Detectives, that trailer plays in front of the trailer package. So like,
Damn, I'll see if
whoever
I get
is
it
in
today when
charge
I
of their
see
marketing
Sheep
is doing a
Detectives.
good job.
I think you have to put Toy Story 5 at number 2.
Yeah, at
All the
least
Toy
number 2.
Story have been nominated before. Even Toy Story 4, which was a weaker installment, won the award.
And that's part of why I want to put it at number 1.
Yeah,
I think they've yet to lose.
Yeah, it just really depends on. I mean, Disney's had a streak of losing, and Wildwood would be an interesting winner that's more in line with the last few winners we've gotten. But you know, Toy Story 5 is such a juggernaut that like, why would we bet against it at this point? I would move Hoppers not all the way up. I would move it below Tangles at least.
I would put it below Iron Boy. I think it's the Pixar slot that doesn't get nominated.
Yeah. So, okay, here's what I want to say about Iron Boy while we're here. Sony Pictures Classics has not had a film nominated in Best Animation in like over 10 years. They've released
but they haven't had really a strong animation contender since Loving Vincent. They've had their following film, which I'm forgetting the name of.
Oh, The Peasants.
But that was not. It didn't even get shortlisted for international. You know, like it just wound up not being anything.
My reason for wanting to have Hoppers potentially in this range would be is based off of how well it's currently doing with GA, how much it's performing well at the box office. The critic reviews are pretty good as well. It's an original Pixar movie, and I feel like this goes to something that Matt and I have kind of gone back and forth on the channel the last few years, whether that is Elio, whether that is Raya and the Last Dragon. And I think there was one more as well, where the bar, you could say, for Disney Pixar is a lot lower. And I think if those films can get in, you can argue last year's a weak category, but if those films can get in, Hoppers is some stronger. Elemental is another one, where Hoppers is just much stronger than all those films even combined.
I mean, that's true. I just don't think there are going to be that, by the end of the year, there are going to be that many champions of Hoppers compared to the other films. Like, I can see more people championing the originality of the style of Tangles, the sweetness of Iron Boy, the ridiculously ambitious Wildwood, and again, like, there's another Pixar on the list, so it's not like I think Pixar has already been able to get more than one film nominated, but it's rather rare, and it's usually like 2 really strong films in a weaker year.
And I would say Hoppers is a really strong film. I think from every metric that we have so far, I would say if Hoppers missed, this would have to be an all-timer animation lineup.
Honestly, it might be. This is a crazy
It might
one.
be.
So I looked into Sony Pictures Classics. They have only released 11 animated movies before. Of those 11, 5 of them have been nominated. And they've missed for films that did not get strong reviews. A Magnificent Life. The Peasants got decent reviews, but not glowing. Reuben Brandt Collector, same. That kind of just never went anywhere. Scarlet got trashed. They Shot the Piano Player got trashed. So all of their films that have released since their last nomination have not performed well. But if we assume Iron Boy does perform well, then maybe it has nothing to do with the studio, and it's just that they haven't chosen great animated movies until now. So my point against Sony Pictures Classics is moot. Has nothing to do with it. Scarlet wouldn't have gotten in no matter who distributed it. So I think Iron Boy could be in there. Honestly, gut reaction now with this new information, I might put it above Tangles.
I've been trying to tell you. Like, here's the thing, Tangles, it could change. it could
Tangles
change.
doesn't have a distributor, and it's adult animation, which is like, if we keep in mind that this category is so often ruled not by the voters but by the kids of the voters, this is a film that is made for adults. It is about a queer comic book artist returning home to care for her mom with Alzheimer's. That doesn't necessarily sound like a contender. Also, without distribution, I feel like we have to dock some points from the film at this moment.
I think
So I guess
indie animation like Iron Boy, Robot Dreams, not really indie, well, not indie, but The Boy and the Heron. You know, those are films that can have something that's appealing to children, but that aren't solely or inherently children's films.
Yeah.
You know, Iron Boy is a film about a teenager, a young teenager, but it's a film about financial hardship. It's a film about learning the organ. It's a film about, you know, it's not, it's a film that can absolutely be enjoyed by children, but it's not a pure children's film.
Yeah.
Same with Robot Dreams. It's a film that has aesthetics that are very appealing to children. It has a dog, a robot, other animals. But it also appeals to a wider range, you know, and I feel like I haven't. So that's the thing. You've seen Tangles. I have not. So you can speak for it better than I can. But if you are saying that it is adult animation, I mean, Loving Vincent, I guess you could say is adult animation.
Not in the same way. This is a like a Seth Rogen comedy about Alzheimer's. Like, this is if you animated 50-50, basically.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
I mean, I'm overselling Seth Rogen's involvement in it, but he produced the film, and like his mark is on it a little bit, but it's based on like an underground comic book. I think the best comparison, if anyone has seen the musical Fun Home, this comes sort of from the same movement of queer comic book artists, and it's the same sort of darkness with like a little bit of a twist of humor to it. So, yeah, it's adult animation, not like Loving Vincent, which is just like a serious film about a painter. It's adult animation more in the realm of like BoJack Horseman.
I see.
So I guess moving down to the list of some of these next ones that we have in line, we have Forgotten Island and Ray Gun, both coming from major distributors in terms of the animation categories, but I would say both of these films aren't, at least on paper, as strong as some of their previous contenders for animation feature.
I don't know, man. I think Forgotten Island, they already screened it at CinemaCon. They're like that.
It wasn't a finished version, though.
I know it wasn't even a finished version, and they're like, check out what we've got. That's a major show of sign. Bring that up into the 5.
I agree. Forgotten Island is.
I'd put that above Iron Boy.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, because a lot of the reactions I saw at CinemaCon were saying like, we see what it's going for. Are we vibing with it?
Well,
maybe not as much.
It's not finished.
Yeah, but the animation isn't finished, but the story is done, and I feel like it's reading below the lines, because CinemaCon's obviously always going to give you the positive spin. Go back to The Flash, and The Flash is the best superhero movie of all time, which they said. But even if like they're like peeking below the cracks, saying like, I don't know if this is working, blah blah blah, it's something to read. But also it goes to the people who go to CinemaCon. Are they this exact core demo? Is this the superhero action star lover's favorite anime movie? Maybe not. So I would probably have it below Hoppers personally, but if I'm being outweighed, we can put it at number 3.
I don't know. Maybe I haven't read all of the reactions or the real reviews of the film, so I don't know. But just gut reaction, gut feeling, the look of the movie, the confidence that Universal seems to have in it, I would have it up high. Ray Gun has a lot of variables to it.
I agree.
Brad Bird. I'd put it below Tangles right now. But we'll have to see.
I don't know how to feel about it. And I don't know why can't Brad Bird making an animated film for Netflix? I'm not sold just yet. You know,
Mm-hmm.
It kind of feels like the fact that he's not doing it with Disney or anything, the fact that he's going to Netflix gives me the signs of some of the former animators that have gone to like Apple TV to get their movie made because their primary studio doesn't want anything really to do with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Shaun the Sheep, move that way the hell up.
Yeah, this has been in my 5. Now, if we're moving Forgotten Island up, it would be hard because I don't want to put it above Hoppers, but I would assume y'all would have it at least at
Put
5.
Shaun the Sheep. Absolutely. Look at Aardman's track record. They've got nominations
I
for
agree.
both past Shaun the Sheep movies. They've got nominations for all of the Wallace and Gromit stuff. The only film that they haven't gotten a nomination for in the last little bit was like Early Man. Put this above Forgotten Island. The only knock against Shaun the Sheep is it's not the only stop motion film in the race, and Wildwood is going to make it look so unpolished.
I was gonna say, like, Shaun the Sheep Farmageddon, was that 2020, 2021?
That was 2020.
Okay, 2020. Is that the last film?
From Aardman? No, Wallace and Gromit.
Which one?
Vengeance.
One that won the
Wallace and
BAFTA over Flow.
Right. Oh yeah, right. Okay. So, do we?
You can't count out Aardman.
I realize
I
that,
don't
but
count out
I'm
Aardman.
thinking-
I just
I'm
count out
thinking-
Forgotten
I
Island.
really doubt that in a quote unquote normal year, Shaun the Sheep Farmageddon would have been nominated. You know, I'm thinking, you know, if this is,
I don't know. I disagree.
if we're having diminishing returns with Shaun the Sheep, is it really that? I wouldn't put it that high. I'll put it at number 5 at most.
I think with this lineup right now, I don't know.
But
Again, Forgotten Island might be too high. Might be.
We have a really good year, and I could see Shaun the Sheep like missing because we have just stronger titles. And I know it's Aardman, and I know they've never missed, but
also their last few have all been Netflix movies, and this is G Kids distributing.
Yes,
which might hurt it.
I just think that they've gotten, you know, I think Shaun the Sheep is just less fruitful of a franchise. They've gotten lucky with the last one, and I think their luck is going to run out with this one.
I don't know.
If it was me, I would.
Were there any big animated movies that were moved out of 2020? I don't buy Hoppers like that, though. I don't buy Hoppers like that.
I mean, I think anything you could say about Forgotten Island, Hoppers will have it beat. Domestic box office, worldwide box office, critic reviews, audience reviews. Disney or Pixar is a better distributor than or for DreamWorks.
I don't know. I would rather actually, if it comes down to it, I'd rather put Tangles in and take Forgotten Island and Hoppers out.
I guess let's keep coming down the line. We'll revisit that when we get towards the end.
I mean, there's Julian coming from Cartoon Saloon. But I'm not as like we can't forget the last few times that we've been like, oh, Cartoon Saloon's got to get in there, Cartoon Saloon, and then they made My Father's Dragon.
Yeah.
They're not guaranteed.
Yeah. Hey, maybe
our
we're gonna
fun
have
Disney
My
Thanksgiving slot.
Yeah.
I would put Julian above Minions though, and I'd put it above In Waves too.
In Waves, how do we feel about In Waves? Because it was bought by Netflix pretty early on in the festival, which is a sign of support.
Well, it's because so Netflix, this is what they were telling Neglia apparently. When they're buying animation, they look for something visually popping that you could watch on your iPhone, because they're assuming that their audience is going to, especially for an animated film, is going to be young people who are watching on an iPad, iPhone. They want animation that is visually popping, visually stunning. And so In Waves is the most visually stunning animated film at the festival.
Yes, In Waves, perfect for your toddler.
Perfect for your toddler. No, but I think that, like,
remember I Lost My Body. Like also bought by Netflix at Cannes in the Critics Week. It's not that, right?
No.
Okay.
No. I Lost My Body was so like original in its story. The story is the issue with this one.
Okay.
I think just to go ahead and move Mario below Minions and then Goat. We could probably even chop Goat if you think one of these two are stronger, because this is our 15 at the moment.
Yeah. Well, what's below Frankelda?
Because we're gonna have to cut 4 of these.
Okay, cut Viva Carmen, cut Lucy Lost, cut Decorado.
I'd say go if they're gonna do if PJ is gonna do one, they're gonna do Mario or Minions.
Mm-hmm.
Breaks my heart to see Viva Carmen gone, but
I don't even think Viva Carmen gets a release this year in the States.
Yeah. Oh, you're probably right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess
maybe that
here
means it has a better chance next year. I don't know. We'll see.
Do you think one of these two should go above our Minions line, or they stay down here?
No, those are bottom.
And then now we have Mario 13, Minions 12. Are we
Is
keeping
Hex a
in waves at
little too
11?
low? Should Hex be above Raygun?
No,
I would
Disney.
say so.
Disney Studios has been like their last films have been Strange World, Wish. Like I'm not buying that as a. Also, why are we putting Raygun below In Waves?
Well, I was moving them so they can be together down. For me, I'm not really caring about anything below 7. I think 7's where we're talking about. The rest of these are kind of just here. One of them maybe can show up at Golden Globes in their lineup of 6.
Okay, here's the argument I'm going to make. Let's go back up to the 5. Okay, because we have so much disagreement about Forgotten Island, I would make that the 5, so that we say 5 and 6. It's between the two of those. And then 7 is Tangles, and I think Tangles enters in if it's bought by someone reputable.
Yeah, we could boost Tangle up depending on who buys it.
Yeah.
Because right now that's the key information that's missing. It's not just who buys it. It's like, it's also, is it going to release this year? Like it is a bit odd. Like I don't want to, it's not uncommon for films to have to wait like 2 or 3 weeks before they get bought. But like, again, Arco, it got bought 2 days later by Neon, and like they just swooped in. They got I think Little Amelie got bought like less than a week after it premiered by G.
Sitting there for so long is strange.
Yeah, and Netflix got In Waves right away. Sony Pictures Classics. I think it was less than a day after the film premiered. They were like, "We need this right fucking now." They believe in Iron Boy very much.
Because at least how I look at animated feature, I think that your win contender of Toy Story and Wildwood sight unseen. I agree. You're going to have one can pick, so Iron Boy sounds like what it's going to be.
I would actually argue Shaun the Sheep is safer than Iron Boy because I think Iron Boy could be replaced by a different indie animation, but I feel like Shaun the Sheep just has a slot.
But that's what we said last year. We said we have to pick. It's going to be Arco or Little Amelie. There can't be 2.
Oh, there can be 2. There can be 2. It depends if Tangles gets in. But like, I know that Shaun the Sheep has visibility. Iron Boy, I don't know if I still don't feel confident that Sony Pictures Classics will give it the push that it needs.
Because that's the thing where we're all going to end up disagreeing with animated feature until we get later in the year. Because I would have Hoppers here, if not here.
Over Wildwood,
I think Hoppers. I don't have much faith in Wildwood. I think this is what people are signing themselves up for. It's a 5-6 contender, not a 1-2. But
I'm also just low on Hoppers. I hated that movie, so maybe I'm not the one to ask about it.
Because like I think that if we look to, like I said before, the previous Disney Pixar type films, whether that is Elio last year, Elemental, Ray and the Last Dragon, I'm forgetting another one in there in the stretch that they've had where they have just that film that checks off all the boxes. If they could make it, and you could argue their years may have been weaker, Hoppers has them beat in every single category. Because it's, to Jimmy's comment, it is the highest grossing original animated movie since 2018, 2019, something like that.
That can't be right because Elemental made more money.
Hoppers has it beat domestically, at least.
Really? Okay.
It might be worldwide as well. Let me check.
Listen, just for you, Dyl, like we all have our called shots. I really want to call Iron Boy. We're putting that in the 5. Just for you, we'll keep Hoppers in there. I'm just telling you, it's not going to age well.
We'll have to see. That's what I
would have said
about
the same
Elemental.
thing about Elemental, though. I think recent Pixar has just been like shit for me.
Okay, so Elemental has it beat worldwide. Hoppers has it beat domestic.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, to the aging poorly, I mean, Matt and I had this conversation last year about Elio saying doesn't matter. Elio checks the boxes, and Hoppers has Elio beat tenfold.
Last year was so fucking weak. I think Elio would have been the first one off, but hey,
Probably.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's a good, and I'm glad Can was actually able to impact this lineup a little bit.
Yeah, I will say in terms of Julian, like it's weird to me that Julian did not show up at Cannes despite such a large animation presence.
And I guess just looking at the community for animated feature before we wrap up here, Wildwood's at nearly 80% victory. Toy Story's at 10. Even as a Wildwood denier, I feel like those should be a little bit more even in line, considering the fact that Toy Story 4, despite unanimous saying this is the worst in the franchise, still won with having actual competition from Klaus. They have Hoppers at 86. Forgotten Island at 60, Raygun at 52, but then the Cannes titles start to show up there a little bit in the next 5.
Yeah. I will say, I heard some people say that if Toy Story and Wildwood flop, that Tangles is the winner. I think it was Cole that said that. But there's never been like a fully adult-oriented animated film to win the category.
Boy and the Heron's an adult animated oriented film.
It's Studio Ghibli. Yes, it's PG-13. Yeah. It's still a movie about a boy going into a fantasy land with a magical bird person. Yeah. Like that is still in the realm of child accessible. Tangled.
I would say Spirited Away. If Spirited Away is like accessible to like it from 8+, The Boy and the Heron is accessible from like 12, 13+, you know, like
I don't know. I think if you throw Boy and the Heron in front of a 12-year-old, they're saying, "Mom, switch this off. Show me something."
Miyazaki was saying that the young people liked it the most.
It's not like it's not the same. Even if we do call it adult oriented, it's not the same as Tangles, which is like it could be just a drama. It's animated because it's about a comic book artist. That's the only reason it's animated.
Well, we just passed the 2.5-hour mark. I think that means we beat our last stream. So, and I can see the light in Arno's room get darker and darker as the day progresses over there.
Oh yeah, it's what it's.
I just want to say both of y'all,
9:30.
thanks so much for hopping on. It's always fun to have all three of us together to chat.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's still very early, but it's always fun to see. Okay, from what we've seen, like what the international race is gonna be like afterwards. And again, like I'm just really excited because obviously Matt and I are privileged to have seen these films early along with the other people at Cannes, and we've been in your shoes most of the time. Not being able to see these films, just hearing about them and trying to see what they're like. And right now we're in the position where we're just really excited to have you guys discover these films gradually as they'll be released. And so, yeah, look forward to all of them and making your opinions on all of them. I'm really looking forward to all the conversations we'll be having about these films. I think we've heard a lot of pundits saying that this has been a weak year for Cannes. Nope. This is false. This is not necessarily a strong year for Cannes, but this is a good year for Cannes so long as you look beyond the competition, because there have been some lows in the competition. The competition has overall not been as qualitative as some of the others, but there have been so many great films outside the competition this year. There has been a lot of strong discoveries. So I look forward to people discovering these films.
And
it's a better.
I like that point I like that point you said, because in the video y'all got to do with Ryan Castleman, the comments are saying, "What is this guy talking about? That last year was weak." But it's also like, y'all are the people who were at the festival watching these movies. You're the people whose opinions we want to hear about these movies. So many people can like armchair pundit or talk about festivals, but like you're the voices who got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I guess that's the end of our stream here. But yeah, thanks everyone who either came out live or is going to rewatch this at a later time, and hopefully we can do this again soon.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you. Bye bye.